Get OBS back up and popping. It's on the scene, so hopefully it's recording. I'll check that later. Anyways, welcome back, Team DWC. It's your boy TWP Popcorn. Y'all already know what time it is. 6 p.m. on Wednesday, 10 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday, aka another day in paradise. Hopefully you're looking good, feeling good, and smoking good. If not, that's on you. That's on you. I know I'm doing all right. So, shit, we gotta keep something cracking. What is this doing? It says it's two of them open. I'm recording on one and not on the other one. What happened? I don't know. Hopefully it works. If not, Rumble might get shorted today. Anyways, we ain't worried about Rumble because we got some stuff to do. Your boy got a new Christmas gift. Shouts out to the Lego Star Wars set because I got Darth Vader and a couple of stormtroopers with a little scene to build. It's like a 500-piece Lego set, but I ain't gonna make y'all sit here for all of it. We'll get the good parts out the way, and then we might have part 2 with the rest. Shout out to part 2 with the rest. Y'all know I'm gonna have to have something to do Saturday and Sunday, so we ain't gonna hold you up too long today. Yeah, but I'm gonna hold you up for a minute. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's y'all time y'all usually spend with me, so I'm gonna spend it with you. Let's see. Shout out to everybody that's already online today. I know Beat After Beat was live. Y'all know to go check him out. Hit him up on his Cash App, and then go to his YouTube channel. We'll appreciate that. You dig? Let's see. I'll do a shorter one for the first part, and then we'll get it out the way. Alright, so that's that. Now it's saying OBS ain't open at all. What happened here, OBS? Run normally. Because we're going to record the video, at least for Rumble. Shout out to getting the Rumble videos. They got to have their stuff too. Says it's recording. I'm going to minimize it because, like I said, we got other stuff to do. And while I'm getting these other things set up, we're going to switch around and get a video playing for it a little bit. Then I'll let y'all come back to me. Playlist. We're going to be going to our to-do list playlist instead of the What's Poppin' Wednesday playlist for those who notice. For those who don't, I appreciate y'all staying silent. You know what I'm saying? Mind your business. Just sit here and enjoy the show. Hell, I got you. I got you. Probably. Maybe not. We'll see. That is not the playlist I clicked on. They're trying to be funny today, I see. Well, it's cool. We'll just put the camera back on me. I'm gonna be on camera here in a minute anyways. We gotta be on camera sometimes. I swear it went to that, but cool. Cool. Kid.
They made his super. Toriyama's original design for Super Saiyan 3, and he put it on Vegeta, who is typically not one of his favorite characters, as he said before.
Y'all know to go check in with Spider Pig to get up on that video. It's over there in his shorts playlist currently. Shout out to Spider Pig. You know, we be doing our review over there too. Shout out to Super Saturdays. Y'all know to come check me out every Saturday early in the morning. Because it's Saturday morning cartoons for those who like to wake up to it. Especially given that it's Dragon Ball content that I like to review once a week. That way, I unload on everything I've been either watching or keeping track of all week. But y'all know how that goes. What up, 2A Vet? Happy New Year to you too, bro. Appreciate you for coming through, spending some time with your boy. Y'all to go check out his content. Good stuff over there. Good stuff over there. Definitely appreciate the support. You know us out here networking. But anyways, we got some videos ready to go. While I get everything ready and set up for this Lego build. Yeah. See how many boxes there's gonna be. Bags, I should say. Alright, so the good news is I got a few things set up. Shouts out to me, because you know we got videos versus a Lego build. You know what I'm saying? Whichever one you want to watch, you get to watch. Shouts out to the Rumble, because they get the full, better studio quality video. Y'all know to go check out your boy on Rumble, because we be keeping it popping over there too. This video will be recorded and posted to Rumble shortly after, so y'all know to go look for it over there whenever y'all want to go see it over there. You know, in case y'all don't want to watch the full video, or you want to see the replay in full studio quality with OBS and all the razzle and the dazzle. Shout out to the razzle and the dazzle, because like I said, this book don't look too big, but you know how Lego builds go. They could either be quick and easy, or they could be an extravagant event. You might need to clear out 2 or 3 days out your schedule. But so far I'm looking through here and it ain't got that many stickers. So that's might be the good news, might be the bad news. Hopefully it's the good news, because you know I've had way more stickers. He says, my comments. Well, technically, some channels might actually block you, because they might have had a mod in there accidentally block you. That happens from time to time, which is why I usually make my what? They already trying to kick me out the damn stream. Let me see. I love how I done got kicked off that way, but let me see which video this is. Cause I'm about 5 minutes into it, and he done got me damn near took down. That's the bad thing about having review videos. Hell, I don't know if when I try to go live with them, if they gonna try to flag me for them. Hell, so I gotta be trying to catch that ahead of time. Lord knows we don't need 3 strikes, baby. And in case we do get 3 strikes, hit the buy me a coffee link. Y'all know how we do. We'll be on Rumble regardless. But hell, YouTube does go ahead and kick me out. We've already got content in other places. So apparently I got to get up out of this video. That sucks. Back to my playlist. But hey, while I get this next round of things set up for investigations, we will have another video to just go ahead and go to. Anyways, what do they say? Moving forward.
can be quite relaxing.
Everybody run for your lives! The Grim Reaper is tending the guard with you! Grim, you're...
The Wire's Howard Bunny Colvin represents a force for positive community change. Like very few others in this ecosystem, he tries to F with the program, to fix what's clearly not working.
When do this change?
But the response from all around him in the system of crime, punishment, and status quo is pretty much to slap that impulse of improvement down.
Look, we grind and y'all try to stop it. That's how we do. Why you gotta go and with the program?
So, what can we learn from Bunny and his dogged drive to make things better? Is it even worth it? Or possible? Bunny Colvin is one of the best characters in The Wire. Best in the sense of being a truly good person, guided by moral values, who got into being a cop because he wanted to make the community better. And in The Wire Season 3, with his Amsterdam experiment, where he effectively legalizes drugs in a small area by not enforcing the laws there,
Thought I might legalize drugs.
as well as in his works in Edward J. Tillman Middle School in Season 4, it's striking that Colvin uses logic to change up the formula. He's trying to call on our brains to do some good. He observes the truth, tells the truth, and attempts to act in response to the truth.
And they know exactly what it is they're training for and what it is everyone expects them to be.
I expect them to be students.
But it's not about you or us or the test or the system. It's what they expected themselves.
Of course, all this would sound like a good thing you might expect people to value, but it's not so at all. No one can ever understand what Colvin is up to, and rarely is Colvin's truth appreciated.
I'm a liability in that man. Seems like every time I open my mouth in this town, I'm telling people something they don't want to know. But you, it's the process.
Amsterdam ends up becoming a tragedy of being ahead of one's time, of finding the answer, maybe not the right answer, but the best possible answer to a very messed up situation that won't go away, but living in a world that's too broken to listen. It's a tragedy of knowing what could be done to help and having your arms cut off when you go to act. The political fallout to Amsterdam is so very sad, because the people who know that Bunny was right. Even if his way has some ugliness and imperfections, it does some harm mitigation, whereas the alternative being implemented here, just arresting low-level offenders and making their lives even harder, is mostly making things worse for almost everyone. When Carcetti visits Amsterdam, it's a key moment of testing whether, when given the chance, he means to follow through on any of the principles he's running on, and his choice to sacrifice the Amsterdam project for his ambitions reveals to us the soulless hack Carcetti really is. Everything we see from him afterwards, him abandoning his new day just to shine up more shit and call it gold, and making choices that negatively impact his city in exchange for helping him run for governor a mere 2 years after becoming mayor, is all foretold to us in Carcetti's response to Amsterdam. Privately, he believes it's right, but he helps destroy it for self-gain. Colvin, meanwhile, is wired the opposite way. When we meet him, he's talking about how he can pull off his Amsterdam experiment because he's got his 30. He's untouchable.
This doesn't work, Jenny. It's just back to usual. I'm out the door to mention anyway.
But his decisions continue to prove that he's not, in fact, doing this because he's immune. He's doing it because it's what he believes is right.
Soldier and police, and they ain't the same thing.
And he can't help himself from continuing to make decisions based on his moral compass over his self-interest, falling on his sword to his junior
What up, G-Mama
officers
bros?
aren't
Appreciate you
punished,
for
losing
stopping
his
and
cushy
through.
pension and
Hopefully the New
Hopkins'
Year's
security
treating you
job as
well.
a result, losing his next
Putting together
security
one of my
job because he
Christmas
can't
gifts.
accept letting a rich man go uncharged for beating.
Cause you know, the work ain't gonna do itself, right? Alright, so it said step 1 was to start building these guys. Cause you know there's guys that are gonna be getting chucked by Darth Vader. So there's the first one, and since there's 2 of them, you know, you put this piece inside this piece, give the guy a head, I don't know where y'all was going with that, but you know, turn it around because these things are funny looking. Big head. You know how they are. They can't see shit because their helmet's too big. Why would you have it lifted up to where it ain't gonna protect you anyways? But that's how they do it. Oh yeah, The Wire is definitely one of my favorite shows. Y'all know we review a lot of that over on Spider Pig. I got this part about Bunny in Amsterdam because y'all know that has to deal with drugs being legal in areas, or you just minding your own damn business and letting people do what they do, right? Right. Anyways, I've got the first step of my Lego build done. The next couple ones are going to be some BS, so I'll just be putting stuff together in the background and keeping y'all up to date on where I am as far as processing that, right? That's why we got videos. So while I'm working, y'all can at least enjoy y'allself. Because this is what I'll be watching while I'm working anyways. You see what I'm saying? This is what we do, baby. We put y'all in the mix with us, baby. Review channel. Somebody got to do it. Shouts out to Bunny, though. He did have his idea and he went with it.
Being a woman, and so on. And even though he believes that Amsterdam disillusioned him, he still goes on to take a poorly paid job with an academic study in the middle school, attempting yet again to help make things better. This time taking an interest in kids with behavioral challenges, most of whom are being groomed for the corner, even though all signs point to this being an uphill battle in every way.
Put a problem on a blackboard. Teach them every problem on some statewide test. It won't matter. None of it. Because they're not learning for our world, they're learning for theirs.
The morality of a person's choices, as Kant would tell us and The Wire seems to agree, consists in the rightness of the choice itself, not in the outcome of that choice. So when Carcetti continues to put the importance of self-gain first, that's who he becomes, or really shows that he's been all along. Conversely, Bunny can't not do the right thing for others, even though it repeatedly costs him. And how does the system reward each character? Carcetti rises in status and power, while Bunny loses what's been promised to him. Still, who has really lost more on the deepest level? The contrast tells us something important about these corrupt systems that continue to fail our society. That individuals generally benefit by falling in line and perpetuating the status quo, no matter how broken or messed up it is, and then leveraging their compliance for self-enrichment. And individuals generally suffer as a result of standing up against that same old, or trying to make any meaningful change. But another simple way, at the risk of sounding obvious, in The Wire, we see time and time again that immoral behavior is rewarded and good deeds are punished. It's not like you're just going to be able to do the right thing and reap social rewards like money and status. Nope, in this world, which is a pretty good reflection of our real one, it's pretty much that doing the right thing costs you your ambitions for that stuff. And that really sucks. But at the same time, how much is a moral act really worth if it doesn't cost us something? In a key scene between Bunny and Ellis Carver, Colvin talks to his protege about what police used to be in his day. He outlines a vision of police as being a crucial part of the community, rather than the enemy of citizens.
Before we went and took the wrong turn and started up with these war games, the cop walked a beat, and he learned that post.
And it's the heart of what's so wrong with a lot of the bad policing we see in the show, and the dynamic that's developed in so many places between the police and the community. When Bunny visits former Avon Barksdale soldier Weebay in jail, he speaks constantly in we's.
You know our kind. Shit. Man, we both know we're gonna go to our grave forever knowing what block Benelux dead ends at.
This police officer is strikingly more comfortable talking to a drug soldier than he is at the mayor's office. So even though we think of the police as the establishment, as against the criminals, the way Bunny came up, his view of policing was that he was more a part of Weebay's community, more so than Fancy Carcetti's. He was there to serve.
You know, people in the game nowadays, I mean, it's a whole different breed. No code, no family. Damn sure no respect.
And this is why it matters to him to be a help to the community, not leading an army at war with the citizens of his city. And though so much of what we follow in The Wire leads to disillusion and disappointment, promisingly, we watch Carver, who begins as Herc's buddy just relishing flashy, pointless raids, flourish into a next-generation version of Colvin in Season 4. He knows all the names of the kids on the corner.
Try me, Naaman. Yeah, that's right, I know your name.
tries at every turn to help them rather than ruin their lives, and looks at the situation with humanity and nuance. When he does make the mistake of entrusting Randy's safety to Herc, and Randy suffers for that, this crushes Carver, whereas Herc, who's ultimately heading down the path of following corrupt defense lawyer Maury Levy, barely even notices. At the end of season 5, Carver is shown becoming the new Cedric Daniels as he rises up in rank like his former boss, while bringing an understanding of the importance of more high-level, coordinated police investigations. But Daniels himself also increasingly over time becomes like Colvin, who himself rose to the high rank of major. Both were about promotions until they lost faith in the system and tried to change it.
You understand games that lie? It's what rule in this department. Shining up shit and calling it gold.
So, we can see Carver following the Daniels and Colvin path. Over time, Carver realizes the limits of his ability to help, like when he's not able to adopt Randy or fix that mistake, just as Prez does in his role as teacher, and as Bunny has repeatedly learned. But at least there are some future police officers carrying on Bunny's vision of police as community helpers, and trying to be on the side of the people. Bunny may lose on Amsterdam, and he may lose his cushy retirement, but he becomes a surrogate father to one boy, Weebei's son Naaman, who manages to escape the tragedy of his situation. The young boys we meet in season 4, the Boys of Summer, the first episode of the season is named after, are all kind of amazing when we first get to know them. But by the end, as each is groomed by the system to go down one of the available toxic paths, Naaman is the only one who doesn't fall into one of those expected roles, and that's thanks to Bunny. So while almost all of the time he spent attempting to with the program and make positive institutional change may fall short, the consolation is at least there's one
Now
link
they got their
he has saved
pistolas.
from that system. One young person
Don't
he
worry,
has
YouTube,
shaped
they're
for
only
better.
plastic.
More concretely, Naaman escaping
And
with
they're bad
Lawrence by
shots
living with
anyways.
Bunny and getting a family to hold him to task is really a chance to live. Because without this, he was probably going to be dead pretty soon.
If you send Naaman out on the corner now, giving him maybe 1-2 years before he down the morgue. And maybe, if you're lucky, I'll be here with you.
It's interesting that Colvin ends up with Naaman specifically because, while they seem very different at first, subtly we can see that he identifies with Naaman in certain ways. When Naaman comes to dinner with his wife, he calls the boy an Eddie Haskell, a reference to the character from Leave It to Beaver who's known for trying to cover up being up to no good by putting on a flattering, sucking-up personality with parents.
Gee, Mrs. Cleaver, your hair really does
You
look...
said that, Eddie.
Naaman, when he's relaxed, is also very charismatic and charming, whereas when he feels out of his comfort zone, he becomes confrontational, trying to act tough and mimic what he's been taught about how to be like his dad. Yet, in reality, Naaman feels out of place in Weebei's world. Everyone from that world keeps lamenting that Naaman is weak or soft.
Oh, look at you, crying now.
But Bunny can see how Naaman's unsuitability for the corner is not objectively a bad thing. In fact, it means he's better suited for an environment that will hopefully keep him alive. Still, until he gains Bunny's faith and the new class from the academic grant, it's hard to imagine that Naaman will be able to get the opportunity, or even more crucially find the confidence, to see himself as able to function in a different environment. Colvin himself actually has the same problem. In his conversation with Weebei, he reveals that he mentally groups himself in with the Barksdale soldier, even though Weebei is a criminal and he's a cop. When he goes to City Hall to meet with the mayor's staff, he's bumbling, visibly uncomfortable, and always saying something awkward. In season 3, during Amsterdam, he's totally ill-equipped for the politics coming for him. And later, when he gets into the security field, he's just wrong for it because he doesn't have the instinct to suck up to the rich and powerful and keep quiet. In other words, Bunny feels similarly to Naaman that he can only be himself in certain contexts. And embedded with that is a lack of self-confidence in environments that he doesn't feel polished enough for. In fathering Naaman, then, he's trying to give the boy what he feels he didn't have. And in the end, when we see Naaman thriving in debate club, it's implied that the kid is getting the right instruction in how to bring out his gifts in more formal educational contexts. While Naaman's ending is a bright spot, ultimately it's a disappointment that Colvin, who tried to make institutional change, was shut down and punished for it. And the trends we see over time are not improvements, but largely things getting worse. Even though Bunny's able to help Namond, he and Carver and Prez can't help Randy or Daquan or Bodie or Michael. The end of season 4 leaves us with a palpable frustration that hopefully makes us want to fix this broken world, yet the show is also not really that hopeful that we will or can. Bunny himself has understood by this point that things don't change, at least not for the better. Yet there are meaningful exceptions. Besides Namond getting a chance to live, there's Cuddy making a life out of the game and making a positive impact in young people's lives, Prez getting control of his class and actually teaching them math, and Bubbles overcoming incredible pain and addiction to get clean and share his story with others. All those people needed help to get there. If Bunny Colvin teaches us anything, it's that, however big or small the result may be of your impact, you still have to go ahead and try. When you look around you at all that's not working, how can you not give it a shot and with the program? That's the take. Click here to watch the video we think you'll love, or here to check out a whole playlist of awesome content. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications.
Everybody in New York was calling
What
him
up,
damn
big
Mr. Nice
homie?
Guy. We met all kinds of customers.
I know go to check out the
this
big
guy
homies
here.
buy me a
He's what we
coffee.
call an enhancement
Go straight to his
smoker, 'cause he
YouTube
thinks
channel
that
about clicking
marijuana
his
makes every activity
name
that
and
much
hitting them
better.
3 dots, right?
Casa su casa.
Observe.
You're Scarface, right?
Yeah.
I love Al Pacino, man.
You ever
see
built
Son
a
of a
sip?
Woman?
Yup.
You ever see
That's gonna be my next campaign. I'm gonna be the enhancement smoker. You dig? You ever build a set of Legos? Yup. You ever build a set of Legos on weed? Dude, it's a trip. There's Legos sitting in the bushes. What? I don't know. Does he have a gun? Red team go, red team go. Hey, man, I'm gonna have fun with this shit today. Fuck y'all. Hey, shout out to my haters, because I gotta give them something to hate about, right? Right, he just sitting here stealing people's content, building Lego sets. Hell yeah. AKA Another Day in Paradise. Anybody don't like it, make sure you hit the thumbs up on your way out. Yeah, spread the positivity. Just don't even be a hater. Yeah, forget all about what you was thinking.
Son of a Woman on weed? That's the way to say it, man. It's just whack.
$60, yo.
Cool, man. I got it. Did you ever see the back of a $20 bill, man?
No, I don't know, yo.
Did you ever see the back of a $20 bill? On weed? Oh, there's some weird shit in there, man. There's a dude sitting in the bushes, man. Does he have a gun? I don't know, man. I don't know. What? Red team go. Red team go. It's just some weird shit, man.
Man, you fucking crazy, yo.
Oh, that's cool. Thanks, man. Hey, yo, wait. Dude, I'm gonna check out the stars later. It's really trippy. Especially on weed, man.
What's up, everybody? I'm here in the Smash Lab at the Nug Smasher Factory, aka the Hot Box, and we're here with the Nug Smasher IQ. Today, something really exciting. We're gonna do 2 extractions. Both have 3.5 grams of flour in them. We're gonna do a flat extraction, a rectangle extraction.
What up? Y'all know to go
and
check
a
out the
bottle
big
tech
homie
style
Triple B.
extraction on the Nug
Always a
Smasher
pleasure to
IQ. I'll
see
show you
him.
how to do that. We'll measure the results in and out so we can see, what the better method is. So stick around. We're going to be using master extractor screen on the IQ. It's going to be a pretty neat video, so stick around. Stay tuned for this one. So the first thing we're going to do is we'll do the bottle tech extraction, because that's quick and easy, okay? And the Nug Smasher IQ, if you guys have been looking into an amazing machine, it absolutely does everything automatically. I'm going to do 650 material PSI in this flour that I got in the bags here. It's a 90 micron bags. I'm going to do them both for 2 minutes. So I'm going to leave everything the same except for the surface area. I'm going to put it in a rectangle over here on the master extractor screen. The exact
Alright, so let's see. I just finished step number 13. Yay! It's a lot of steps on this. Might be at this for a minute to keep telling y'all. I gotta get y'all some hobbies that way you don't mind doing shit all damn day, right? But
Exact
back to
size
it.
is what I'm gonna do on that. So, but for now, we're gonna do the bottle tech extraction. I have it all set up. We're gonna do them both at 205 degrees. The first thing I want to do for that is I want to get I'm gonna trim them. You can see the bottle tech extraction is like this, cylindrical. It's upright. That's how I like to extract flour. If I'm doing hash, bubble hash, sift, I do it like this, usually after it's molded, pre-pressed. So anyhow, but everybody has their own methods for doing things, and you know, we build machines. We're not growers here at Nug Smasher. So you know, I learn something new from our customers every day. So. So I'll tell you what I know, but I don't claim to know everything. Basically put the bag in there. We space the plates apart the size of the bag so it holds everything in. Put a little pressure on it. And we want to make sure that extraction's not leaned over. It's coming up, down, straight. So we'll mess with the bag a little bit if we have to get those changes made. And then once we do that, we can go ahead and press start and proceed. You want the bag to come down with an accordion effect right on top of itself, so it's a nice round puck, and the surface area measurement's right. That's the main thing. So we'll let this one happen for about 2 minutes, and then we'll go over to a rectangle style. We have the flour in it. Same bag, same amount, same flour. We'll fold it over like that. We'll get a measurement of that with the ruler here. We can actually do that now. So, oops. I'm gonna go 1.8, and then this way I'm gonna go 2. So 1.8 by 2 will be the measurement that we put in for that when we get to this next extraction. And we'll measure it at the end to see how accurate we are. I don't do a lot of extractions that way with flour, so I know how to press out a little bit more. But man, look at that. Look at the extraction bottle textile. Isn't that beautiful? Really nice. We're only about 20-something seconds into the extraction, as you can see here, and that's the results we're starting to see. So really nice rosin coming out. And if you guys are new to rosin, yes, with an O, it is the solventless product that you get by controlling heat and pressure from flour, which is just plain old cured bud, or from bubble hash. You can do high quality sift, and many other ways. So there is no chemicals involved. It is absolutely amazing. It's the strongest of all the concentrates, this form, and what you can refine from this form. You can also take it into a THCA isolate form from rosin. And which this machine has a setting, you just simply press go over to the isolation page and hit isolate and watch a video, pack it the way I show you how to pack it. And in our screens, we typically use a 15 micron screen wrapped around it inside of a 37 micron bag, and then stick it in there. So. And you can do a lot of different ways, but anyhow, you stick it in there and isolate it under, there's settings that are in there, but it's a lot less pressure and less heat over a lot longer period of time. So the timer's coming up on this. We're going to go ahead and, what happens when it expires, it releases the plates just a little bit. You can see how they come down just a little bit. You don't want them to come all the way down so it disrupts everything, but enough to get the puck out so it doesn't run into the plates here. That's the results there. results. So we'll go ahead and set this aside for just a second, let it cool down, and we'll go ahead and put the other bag. It's a rectangle shape like this, 1.8 by 2 inches. So what we're going to do for that is we're going to go over to the master extractor screen on the Nug Smasher IQ, and we're going to actually put 1.8 by 2 inches in to the surface area measurement, which will set the square
they're over
inches
here
for it.
smashing nugs, which is always good content. Shout out to the Nug Smasher. Let's see, the part we just built was this. It's got this little rocker arm attachment. So these two hold it in place, which give it this rocking right here, which you control with this. Gotta love how Legos be getting on they grind, man. They're gonna have you building some stuff. So then you place it on, and it goes right here on the little platform. See how it's moving? It's alive. It's alive. Hey, use the force, or the force will use you.
So I wanted to put the same amount of pressure on this as I did the other bag to get the same amount of result, or same consistent result like that, same quality. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a fold, and that fold I'm going to put up top. I'm not going to put it on the bottom, I'm going to put it on the top. It helps with the yield. Alright. I basically brings the plates to the height of this real thin bag I have here. I'm going to slide it between the plates there. And at this point, it's a custom size. It's 2 inches by 1.8, 3.6 is the cubic area. We're going to do it for 2 minutes at 650 material PSI, still at 205 degrees, exact same settings as the other one. We change the surface area, and we're going to hit start and proceed. And let's see what happens. That's exciting. So while that one's extracting, I'm going to come over and start to collect this one up here. Just about the perfect temperature to collect. You can see how easy the material is to deal with, how it's coming right off the parchment paper. Parchment paper that we use is just plain old parchment paper, not wax paper, parchment paper, and we get that from, I like the Costco brand Kirkland parchment paper, is what I personally use. There's others out there. If you're in a pinch for it and there's not a Costco near you, make sure you get a quality name brand parchment paper. The last thing you want is it to separate into the, your rosin to separate into the paper. Also, never, ever, ever use wax paper. And that's the results so far. We're going to peel it off down here by the scale, guys, and get an actual weight. Let's see, we got 56 minutes left, and there's some rosin coming, or 50 seconds, sorry, minutes. That'd be a hell of a long extraction, wouldn't it? And there's some nice rosin coming off the plates there with a minute left. Okay, 0.92 of a gram back from 3.5. If you guys don't know about terp files, we're going to go ahead and log this in our terp files. It'll be under Nug Smasher. This one will. You got a flower picture, didn't you? The actual picture of the bud will be in there, so you can get close-ups on that. If you don't have terp files, it's our free app, Nug Smasher app. You can get it at the Apple Store or Google Store. It's an absolute must. There's a lot of great tools in there, especially if you have a Pro or an XP. The calculator tools on there, which you need to have for sure. You can see what this is doing so far. So it'll be interesting to see if there's a yield difference here, what the story is. So that is a square, and I'm going to make the point why we don't advocate that. You see the rosin in the corners here? Makes me cry. See that? And I packed that bag was packed really even, and the corners are filled, but that's rosin in the corners there. So anyway, let's see what our actual yield is here. Still looks pretty healthy. Same color, so that comes with the actual pressure. Or it appears to be real close to the same color at least. It does look like a lighter yield. I think it's in that bag, I'm afraid to say. But we'll have to wait at the end. I've been wrong before. But it'll be really interesting to see what the difference in the yield is. So what is the difference from a square extraction like most people just have to do and a bottle textile extraction? You'll really see why we do it. But really nice quality material there. Really good quality stuff. All right, let's take it down to the scale here. So the bottle textile was a 0.92 of a gram. And this was the rectangle. I use a nug smasher everything tool to collect. Wow. So it's exact same flour, exact same amount, same bag. This is exactly why we advocate extracting bottle textile. I like an extra quarter of a gram out of every 3.5 grams of flour, let me tell you. So the quality is real close to the same. It's just the yield amount's quite a bit different. So that's a bottle textile quality. And then this is that's the rectangle quality. So the quality is all.
Alright, so I had to build another piece. It's another one of those side levers that I was talking about to where it elevates and does something. Yeah, fully functioning and moving parts. See, yeah, place it to where this is in there, and now it controls this little trapdoor right there. Blip, blip, blip. Lord Vader gonna be throwing shit around later on. Hey, this weekend y'all might actually get to see the rest of this build, man. Shout out to part 1 of the video. We already 47 minutes deep. Appreciate the 5 people that liked the video, the 1 person in chat. Oh, I got me. Don't worry about it.
Almost identical. It actually looks a little lighter at the bottle tech, to be honest with you guys. There's another quarter gram there, and it's a little lighter. So the difference between a 22% yielder and a 27% yielder. So I'm definitely going to take 27% all day long, especially if I'm moving through some weight. That is a perfect example of why we advocate bottle textile. Both off the Nug Smasher IQ, they're what an amazing machine this is. And like I said, it does have all, the decarb setting. It does have the master extractor screen, and then also it has a home screen with a ramp mode, which is you put a start pressure in, an end pressure, a start temperature, and an end temperature, which can be different. So for example, if I wanted this 200 material PSI, and oops, sorry about that, and 200 material PSI, and then I wanted it to end at 400 material PSI, and then I wanted the start temperature to be, 105 degrees, and the end temperature to be 180 or whatever it was, and then over duration of 20 minutes or whatever I wanted to put here, I could actually do that. The machine will accurately ramp up the pressure and temperature or down, depending on the customer setting. And this is also, we have a quick button here. If for hash, so it puts in some general settings, start pressure of 100 material PSI, end pressure 450. So you'd still have to pack your bag and then measure your bag and put that measurement in the master extractor screen. That's what this is calculating off of. But it gives you that, you know, that hash setting. And then, like I said, if you have a bunch of buttered rosin, we're fixing to do another isolation. We have a video on the channel here. There's an isolation setting with a start pressure of 100 and end pressure of 120, and then start temperature of 100 and end at 155 over 25 minutes. So that gives us really good isolate almost every time, even with junk rosin. So got a lot of isolate around since this machine's been around. So a few of those neat settings that are on the machine, and a lot more to come. Terp files is going to be on the machine soon, and like I said, if you don't have terp files, go to the App Store, go to the Google Store, type in Nug Smasher, get the Nug Smasher app. On the app is terp files, and that's where we're going to post this actual flower, these actual results on our terp files right now. So by the time you see the video, they'll be on there. Just look up the Nug Smasher account on terp files, and you'll see that there, so you can see the results. Plus, you'll be able to get a close up at the flowers. A lot of new features on terp files. You can zoom in on the pictures now. There's a before and after picture, so you see a picture of the flower and the rosin, or isolate, or whatever you're doing, rosin before the isolate, or so on and so forth. So, and also it keeps track of and helps you keep track of what strains to mess with and what not to. So keep that in mind. So anyway, guys, appreciate everybody watching. Really appreciate your support out there. Hope you like the results here from the Nug Smasher IQ. Bottle Tech is definitely the way to go if you're extracting flower. Now, that changes for me if I'm doing hash. I'll do square because you can really get it even. Where we lost here is in the corner of that bag, like I was showing you guys. So you can pre-press the hash in a nice pre-pressed brick, slide it in, wrap it in a sheet, slide it in a bag. It really works out good. You don't lose anything there. So I've had some really good luck with that in terms of hash extraction, square and rectangle. But flower extractions every time, bottle textile works. You can get more in the bag that way. It's always an even number, and it's always the highest yielding number. So keep that in mind when you're extracting. Please like, subscribe. If something you liked today or didn't like, let us know, and tell a friend, for God's sakes. Tell a friend. And if you made it this far, use my discount code RosinMadeSimple. That's going to save you a bunch at nugsmasher.com. Thanks everybody for watching. Next time.
Shout out to Nug Smasher. Appreciate that.
Wow, that's Snoop Dogg, the Godfather. I hit that blunt, I'm going to see the Father. Damn, Earth was cool. Oh, this gas, 93 octane. God, take me now. Hey, Cooler, he got another one sparked already. He being unreasonable. This beyond me. If you think I'm finna hit that blunt again, heavens no, I'm high, bucko. I'm puzzled. I'm finna give it right back to him and tell him I hit it 10 times already. I'm finna call 911 and report an attempted murder. He keep passing me blunts. He think we in a relay race. What a bummer. I'm finna put this out, and if he asks why, I'm gonna tell him I'm allergic to marijuana. Weed for me stand for with each exhale, I'm about to die. He gotta knock it off. I done already took 2 blunts. He done sparked a 3rd one. Smoke monster. I'm finna play sleep. Comatose. Big fella, you took that blunt to the head. Now you finna be in the nearest hospital bed. This ain't the move. I'm finna scoot. He a different.
Warning, if you're not 18 years old, get the f off this video. Everything you see is for educational and documentary purposes only. Viewers' discretion is advised.
What's up, y'all? Thank you for tuning in to Deuce Farms. In this video, we're going to be doing an unboxing of the trim bowl that we got from Vigo Son. Before we start this unboxing, I know you guys are probably wondering what's the best way to support us, and that's going to be liking, comment, and subscribing to the channel. Our first look, they gave us some more trimmers, which we already have 3 of these, and love them. As always, you can never have too many trimmers. And what is this? I've never seen this before, but I'm assuming it's some type of different type of trimmer. Oh, it's for like topping. Oh my, never seen this before, but that would definitely come in handy, especially when getting back there in the finer little points, smaller areas. Both of those are pretty good. Now it's time to get into this.
Shout out to Deuce Farms. I believe he changed his name. Let me look. Cause you know we gotta make sure that the big homie get all the respect. You know, he another deep water cultivator grower, so you know, Team DWC over here, baby. Team DWC. Juvar of Deuce. Hey, I like that. He must be getting on his business terminology. I appreciate that. You gotta hit him with that Latin. They like that Latin at the dump.
Alright, we're just gonna fast forward all this. Alright, taking a look at it, as you can see right here, we got the handle. This right here is the bottom, the bowl, which I'm assuming this holds all the larvae. Right here, the trimmers, the toppers. I don't know what this is yet, but I'm pretty sure the instructions will tell me. I'm assuming it connects to here somehow. And right here we actually have the bowl, which I do not know how to open. But you know, I feel like I'm gonna break it. Oh no. I'm over here with one hand. Alright, yeah. I'll take a look at that in a second. I'm gonna go ahead and get it put together, but looking at it, you can see like those right here, you'll pretty much put the brush against, or not the brush, you would put this piece against it and spin it around, and those actual pieces in there would kind of act as like the trim bag and kind of like brush up against the bud and hit the cage at the bottom, and from there it would knock the larvae into that bowl. We're gonna go ahead and get it put together. So we got the handle right here, and all you pretty much, I like that. You just rotate it, and from there you see how the bristles, it just pretty much would. Actually, I don't have any plants ready to harvest yet, so I will be using this the next time. I'll compare it to the trim bag, but as you can see, that's pretty much just going to brush against them, causing them to brush against the crate at the bottom, as well as there's actually a little blade. Do you see that blade spinning around there? That's actually helping to trim whatever hangs below the crate. And then everything after that just falls down into the bucket, and then once the bucket's full, you just pull the bucket out and then toss that larvae out, or actually, in our case, keep the larvae, and then store it, make some rosin. But this definitely looks like it's gonna work pretty good, honestly. I think this honestly, looking at it, seems better than the trim bag to me. The trim bag was actually a lot of work, but excited to see this. Shout out to Vigo Son. Definitely, I haven't used it yet, so when I actually do use it, I'll leave my review on it. But first impression, I'm definitely a fan of it. And shout out to Vigo Son, they actually sent us this for free, so that's pretty good. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go ahead and let me know down in the comment section.
Florida,
do you have the trim bowl, or how to use the trim bag, and which do you prefer? Also, that circular mat that I put on the inside,
step 29
it goes underneath it. So before you guys comment and get on me, I didn't really notice. I just saw it was circular, it fits inside, and I went with it. But yeah, it's actually hold it steady. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe.
Some people are scared of zombies or vampires. Things get
You know what, motherfucker? Eat a dick, nigga. I'm tired of this mother. Oh my God, sir, are you okay? Who did this to you? What did he look like? Did anyone see who accosted this man? I got a date. I can't.
So I definitely have heard over the years that flushing during the, at the end of the flower cycle will remove any excess minerals from the plant. I believe most of the community has accepted at this point that that is not in fact true. However, there may be some validity in the belief that the plant has a better flavor, improved smoke quality by essentially starving it for the last week or so of its life. And that may or may not increase certain, terpene levels. That was kind of our assumption going in.
Many growers have been doing this for a very long time, and they have, through trial and error.
Well, let's pause that real quick because we got another of the levers done. Shouts out to the lever gang. It's this one right here. See, we got 1, 2, 3 done now. Hey, we're making some progress. Shout out to this base. Told you. It's a project, baby. You ain't got no projects or no homework for 2025? Should have been on the mission, boy. Hey, go back and rewind the workbook. That way you'll know how to get your homework set up. Outside. And just remember, Mom, if you bought your son a Lego set and need somebody to help him put it together, you can pay me my hour consultation fee. You can pay that, I can spend some time, put some mentoring in with the kid, and he'll get a Lego set bit with the big homie. Shout out to the big homie for doing the mentoring.
Learned what works for them and doesn't work for them. And we are not here to take away from that experience. And we are not here to tell growers what to do. We realize that the cultivation of cannabis has not been addressed in the world of science. And we want to try to address that.
And our goal is to let's look into the science behind this. Let's see if there's anything to it. Because we know that talented and experienced growers know what they need to do and how to do it to achieve the best yield, highest quality crop, but they don't always know the why or the how it works. So that's kind of where we come in. We want to bring the resources and the technology from agriculture into the cannabis space and continue to provide, not only superior products, but education and knowledge as well.
I have Shara and Stephanie here. Stephanie is a director of R&D for RX Technologies, and Shara is the lead scientist. And just to kick us off, I wonder, Stephanie, just starting with yourself, would you be able to give us a brief introduction to yourself and what you do in RX Technologies and your background, please?
Sure. So I am the Director of Research and Development for RX Green Technologies, and I lead all of our research efforts and our product development efforts for the company for new and proprietary commercialized products. I got my PhD from The Ohio State University in 2011, and I worked in the agricultural industry for one of the largest agricultural cooperatives in the United States for 5 years in their product development team as well. And I have a background in soil science and pest management and general plant biology.
Could introduce yourself, Shara, and also tell us a little bit about RX Green Technologies as well, please.
Sure. So I am the lead field scientist with RX Green Technologies. And what that means is I kind of work as a liaison between the research, the sales team, and our customers. I do a lot of troubleshooting, technical support. My background is in agriculture. I went to graduate school, studied under biological sciences. I did research with actually dairy cattle and alternative feeds for dairy cattle, and then I spent several years working as a farmer, growing crops, raising livestock, and I joined RX over 6 years ago now, so we're still a fairly new company, still getting things up and running, but the objective, the mission of RX was founded on the observation that, you know, the cannabis industry was growing, and our founder had also come from an agricultural background as well as his father. So they saw, you know, we can apply our expertise on the more, you know, crop production side of this cannabis industry and provide real products, you know, that are backed with science and information and scalability, and that has been, you know, more specifically tested on the cannabis plant.
Can you tell me, Stephanie, a little bit about where the idea came from to do this this experiment?
My God, Canadian is a motherfucker, a boot. You can tell when they say about, because they always say a boot. Shout out to my, well, there might be future USA citizens coming up. You never know. Trump already said he's trying to bring Canada back into the home team of it. Boop, 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 boop. But if y'all want to see, I just got this next lever done. It works. Shout out to tossing around Jedis and everybody else. Let me show you on Rumble.
Experiment is test.
Absolutely. So part of our mission in R&D is to try to answer questions that may be of interest to cannabis growers. And flushing is a practice we know most of our customers and most cannabis growers we've seen implement. And so we wanted to take a deeper look at it and see whether we couldn't provide some scientific evidence to validate that practice, because we weren't able to find any prior research trials on it, you know, replicated scientific method type research trials. So we said, let's try it and let's see if we can't demonstrate in a more robust fashion
appreciate you for stopping
by, bro.
Benefits
or lack thereof of this practice.
Over here trying to keep a handle on my Christmas
present. As I said,
present.
for anybody viewing, you should check out the website to see the testing facility, the growing facility, and the lab facilities. Because you guys really have the right setup to do this type of experimentation. Can you tell me a little bit about how you set up the experiment to ensure you had the proper controls in place and all that type of stuff to prove this effect one way or the other?
Absolutely. So with any trial we do, and this trial regarding the practice of flushing as well, our goal is to have it be of the quality to pass a peer-reviewed journal publication, which is, you know, the standard in scientific research. So we selected one cultivar, which was cherry diesel, and we just tested on cherry diesel so that we could try to eliminate variability between cultivars. And we replicated the trial. There were 4 total replications, And each flushing period by replication has
All right,
3
just completed
plants.
step
So
34.
if we do the math, there were 4 different flushing periods, 4 replications, 3 plants per each. 4 times 4 times 3. I believe, if my math is correct, gets us to 48 plants total in the trial. So to demonstrate that we did this on many plants, because anybody who's worked with plants knows that sometimes one plant here or there can do funky things. They can do weird things, and they don't always behave the same. So we wanted to make sure we did it on lots of different plants. And so we did what is known as a randomized complete block design. So in grow rooms, there's little microclimates within a grow room, where if you're near a wall, if you're far away from a wall, you're close to lots of other plants, little different microclimates can pop up. And so what the randomized complete block design allows us to do is to account for those little microclimates and make sure that, for example, we didn't just put the 0-day flush by, the part of the room where there were more fans, for example, or a part of the room where maybe it would get a little more intense lighting or something like that. So we really wanted to space out and make sure the plants were really being treated as evenly as possible, and that we were really just testing the effect of the 4 different flush periods we were investigating, which was 14 days, 10 days, 7 days, and 0 days. And 0 days could be considered the control in this instance, because we were asking the question of whether flushing is beneficial, and then the secondary question of, if flushing is beneficial, is there a time period that's better than the others?
How are the plants being fed?
All plants are fed hydroponically. And they were all given the same volume of feed. So they were all given the exact same nutrient program and the exact same volume of feed up until the flushing began, and that's when they started to be treated differently. That's when we induced the flushing period, and then plants that were not being flushed were still being fed nutrients at that time at the same volume and the same concentration of nutrients.
What media was being used, please?
So we used a cocoa core, 70% cocoa, 30% perlite substrate.
Okay, so if the earliest plant which had been flushed, when you stopped feeding it nutrients, it would have stopped receiving nutrients exactly on that day, and would have just been receiving water. Was the water treated in any way?
So we used reverse osmosis treated water throughout the entire growing cycle.
Okay. And then at the end of harvest, then was there a curing period, or did you test them fresh?
So for mineral analysis, we collected the samples when the flush began and at harvest, and then in order to do that type of analysis, you have to dry them down before you can analyze them. The flour that was measured for yield, THC, terpenes, and then eventually consumed by our taste test panelists did go through a curing process before all that happened.
The expectation then, based on sort of what people had believed up to then, was that there would be the main motivation for doing the flushing at an earlier stage, or at an early stage, would have been to remove those minerals from the plant matter, or from passing through the plant, and therefore having a lower mineral content in the flowers, in the harvested flowers. Is that correct?
Yes. So I definitely have heard over the years that flushing during the, at the end of the flower cycle will remove any excess minerals from the plant. I believe most of the community has accepted at this point that that is not in fact true. Once the plant has assimilated any type of mineral nutrients, they're not leaving the plant tissues. They're staying where they are. However, there may be some validity in the belief that the plant has a better flavor, improved smoke quality by essentially starving it for the last week or so of its life. And that may or may not increase certain, terpene levels. That was kind of our assumption going in. Stephanie and I had talked about what some of the common beliefs were, what the misconceptions might be. And, and then we of course had fun guessing, like, what do we think will come out of this? I mean, we did not know what the outcome would be either. And I was surprised to see that there was no chemical difference in the plants. Once we, completed the trial, had the tissue analysis done, and the terpene and cannabinoid profiles showed nothing too significant in changed across the treatments.
You tested throughout the grow. I think you were taking analysis of the mineral levels during the grow and after the grow. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we started collecting plant samples the day the flush period began, and then the day before harvest we collected plant samples in order to analyze them for mineral content and to be able to see whether by the time you got to harvest there were appreciable differences in mineral content between the different plants that had been flushed for different amounts of time.
And that is the mineral content within the leaf matter, is that correct?
So we took flower samples, as that is the consumed piece of cannabis. That is what people will have that perception of smoking from. So we did take flower samples and did mineral content analysis on those.
First set of results then that you published are basically the yield in terms of weight, the concentration of THC and terpenes. Can you talk through the results there, please, in terms of the 4 different testing regimes?
Yes, so we measured the yield, which would have been the trimmed, cured flower weight, the percent THC in the flower, and the percent terpenes in the flower as well. And there were, what we say in the scientific community, no statistical differences between treatments for either one of those 3 things. And while when you look at the graph, you can see differences in the numbers. For example, the 14-day flush, the yield was 103.2 grams per plant, or the 10-day flush, it was 98.69 grams per plant. But those statistically are not considered different. So after we collect data from a scientific trial, we analyze it using various statistical methods.
All right, well, that was a quick fix, but I got to fuck up before nobody else
those numbers
noticed.
are not actually different. The analogy I like to use is if somebody weighs 200 pounds and they step on a scale one day and they're 200 pounds, and the next day they weigh 201 pounds, and then the day following they weigh 198 pounds, they haven't really gained or lost weight. It's just kind of natural fluctuations that happen from day to day. And that's what we're seeing here, is that while there could be 2 numbers that are a little bit different, they're not actually different. It's just sort of that natural variation and fluctuation that happens between plants. So that is what we found across yield, THC, and terpenes. And we weren't necessarily expecting differences there, but we thought it was important to highlight those findings because those are the things that growers care most about when they are trying to sell their product or consume their product is, did I yield well? What was the THC content? And then terpenes to be able to get a sense of what the flavors are going to be.
Yeah, there's no obvious progression, if I can put it that way, in terms of the yield. So it's jumping around the place through the different regimes. So it's not showing a consistent improvement or
Step
disimprovement
37's done.
from one treatment to the
I almost
other.
had a piece of that of this bag, so we should be getting to the end of
within a
bag
very
1.
narrow band. It's within 4% or thereabouts of each other, the results. Interestingly, the terpenes it seems to actually argue against the preconception that the tastes and flavors would be enhanced. It suggests that they actually are if anything, reduced.
The numbers do say that again, going back to what the statistics say, they say there's no difference, but I agree that the bars do look like they're showing that natural progression towards enhanced
So here's step 38
with lower flushing times.
So it's 2 long gray pieces.
Yeah.
Can't see them because you know you're colorblind with the green light.
This belief that the mineral content would within the plant would be changed significantly by flushing. So by not adding additional minerals to the plant, I suppose in the last period of flower, that the plant would contain less mineral content at the end. It seems to have disproved that as well. I'm looking at the flower concentration percentage, and it's figure A and B. Can you talk to those for me, please? Phosphorus, potassium, and nitrogen first.
Sure. So once minerals enter a plant, they are going to stay within the plant, and they're not going to then come out of the plant. So while they may move within the plant, so you might find something move from a root to a leaf or leaf to a flower, they are going to stay within the plant. And what could actually happen, and we're going to get into a little bit of soil science here, is when you're growing in a media like cocoa, like we were, cocoa has the ability to hold certain nutrients in that growing media. And over time, as you're feeding nutrients, that cocoa is going to hold on to some of them. When you apply water to it, what can happen is the water can flush those nutrients that have been stored off, and they'll either be lost to the runoff or go back into the plant. So you, on a theoretical basis, could actually be moving nutrients into the plant through flushing as opposed to moving them out. And a lot of times, and this is talking very broadly about plants, the nutrient content of flowers is not always related to supply. That plants tend to tightly control the nutrient content of their flowers, and you don't see as much responsiveness with nutrients as opposed to if you were to feed it, you might see more responsiveness in other plant parts.
And can I ask you, in terms of the minerals themselves, this preconception or belief that the mineral content of the flowers could lead to a bad taste, is there any indication or any evidence that that could be the case, or is there any indication as to which minerals that could lead to that bad taste?
I've heard people talk about like a metallic taste, and they're concerned, the growers are mostly concerned about more of those metal type of ions. I have not found any scientific evidence for that, but that's at least the testimonials I have heard.
Okay. So it really is debunking of the highest order then, this research. It's actually addressing quite a number of preconceptions about what's going on within the plant, what we're consuming, and what we may want to consume, not want to consume. It's actually addressing quite a few of those issues, I think. You went to a further extent then, in that you looked at the chemical content of the plant after harvest, looked at differences between plants under the different regimes. But you went a step further then, and you explored the subjective element by having it sampled by users. So people got to do a blind taste test of the results. Can you run me through those tests a little bit, please?
Step 41 done.
So, as we were talking earlier, the main motivation for flushing seems to be people's experience with smoking. So we thought, well, we better include that in the test and see if people really have a different experience with the material that was flushed for 14, 10, 7, or 0J. So yeah, we invited a bunch of people. I think we had about 65 taste test panelists in all. And we gave them different samples, and they knew that they'd been flushed for different periods of time. They just didn't know which one was which. So we asked them some questions. We had them sample it and ask them questions. What was the taste of it? Was it great, good, okay, or bad?
So I only had 4 pieces left out of the bag 1. One's in visor, which we got one more guy like that to build. I might as well go ahead and get these stormtroopers out because they look like they're going to be fun. But they're in bag 2, so let's see how big bag 2 is going to be. And how much more playlist I got. Yeah, if I got more video, I got more funny, right? Does flushing work? Oh, well, we still got plenty more videos, so yeah, of course we're gonna keep it rocking. Y'all know Team DWC, we don't just get in here and do no lightweight stuff. But since we're done with bag 1, it is time to roll up. While y'all trying to scroll up, hey, hopefully you're twisting too. I appreciate this information though. They're saying that the science is not back in the people with the taste buds.
We asked them what they thought it tasted like. Was it an earthy taste, sour, spicy, or sweet? We then asked them to look at the color of the ash. Was it black, gray, or white? And then we asked them to rate the harshness of the smoke. Was it a smooth smoke, kind of a middle range, or was it very, very harsh? And generally speaking, again, we applied statistics to all this data we collected from our taste test panelists. And according to that, people really did not have preferences for one flush sample over another. They didn't say that, the 14-day tasted better than the 0-day, or that the ash of the 14-day was more white than the 0-day. It was a fairly random responses based on flushing time.
Yeah. Again, similar to the terpene profiles that we were looking at earlier, if anything, it suggests that the 0-day may be better to taste than the 14-day flush, if anything. But as you say, that the results are very similar across the 4 categories. Of course, there are a lot of conspiracy theorists about, and not only will they be, imagining metallic tastes from whatever they're tasting, but they will also be suspicious about your motivations in terms of doing the test. One of them, an obvious one, is that surely these findings are to your advantage. That you're selling nutrient solutions, therefore convincing people to use more nutrient solutions is a benefit to your company, and you're going to be biased. What would you say to those terrible accusations?
Hell yeah, that's what's up.
First off, I appreciate the skepticism.
Scully said he gonna be having him some pie coming up.
What the trial really says is we can't tell people to flush or not to flush. So it's two sides of the same coin, where you could say, we equally say a 14-day flush is the same as a 0-day flush. So
black-eyed peas and some cornbread. You gotta have that motherfucking cornbread too. Shout out to the stormtroopers because we got them done.
Yeah, true. You could argue, yes, that you're actually telling people that you could save the last 2 weeks, and it's going to have a negligible effect, if anything. Yeah, it's
Let's
true.
see, I got one over there, and then one over there by the
Just looking for some extra
Imperial,
questions.
the rebel soldiers. Shout out to them damn rebels.
Do you have
But now that I got those two done,
intention, just to share
I'm seriously finna roll up, so you know.
do you have, is there any other questions you're looking to explore and share with us in the future?
Absolutely. There are. This study was fun because it included, the scientific method, all of the data analysis, but also a blind taste test, which is very subjective, and we learned a lot. And I think the take-home message from that, and for future projects that we do where we involve the public and maybe do more of these blind taste tests, is we're not telling you what to do. We're just telling you, hey, we looked into this practice that you hold a little bit deeper, and here's what we found. We're not telling you to do one thing or the other. We're just presenting the information, as well as a blind subjective analysis, and do with it what you will. I think we are interested in other studies that might look at feeding rates. I know as a nutrient company, we see feeding rates and feeding frequency that are all over the charts. And some people never feed more than a 1.5 EC of their total nutrient solution, and some people are 3 to 4.0. I've been in hundreds of grows since I've been with RX, and I have yet to see 2 that do anything identical. It's all very different. So there's so many different growing practices, and I'm sure many more myths. And our goal is to let's look into the science behind this. Let's see if there's anything to it. Because we know that talented and experienced growers know what they need to do and how to do it to achieve the best yield, highest quality crop, but they don't always know the why or the how it works. So that's kind of where we come in. We want to bring the resources and the technology from agriculture into the cannabis space and continue to provide, not only superior products, but education and knowledge as well.
As I said, the reaction I got from just reposting and passing on this information was fantastic. People were really excited and grateful for it. And I'd like to say that again and just say thank you very much for sharing this with us. And I'd like to point people towards your website. There's lots of fascinating information there. This research paper is there, so you can see all the evidence for yourself, including the methodologies and everything else. You can get great insight into Oryx Green Technologies facilities. Have a look around, highly sophisticated grow room and lab facilities. And I would suggest to people to have a look at yourselves, and also there'll be links below to your Instagram, social media, as well as the website. So please join so that we can be the first to see any future publications that you come out with. And thank you very much for coming on the channel and taking my call and being so generous with your time.
Our pleasure. We had fun. We like talking about research.
Shouts out to the big
Absolutely.
homie Manny. Y'all know to go check him out with his Las Vegas lifestyle living content. That's that
RX
son
Green
bitch.
Technologies provides professional cultivation solutions for cannabis growers. We follow a direct sales and service model while maintaining market-leading quality control on all of our products. Our
Kelly's
solutions are
back.
tested through a
Appreciate her for
robust
still
product
sticking
testing
around.
platform to support growers in optimizing cannabis cultivation.
Here's a quick look at what all we've got accomplished. So far, we've got most of the base of the little scene built, and then we've got 2 stormtroopers and 2 of the rebel soldiers. Shouts out to the stormtroopers, though. They're getting it in. Oh, yeah, make sure you go ahead and get your networking in. Y'all know that's what we do. Be live, so y'all got somewhere to network, right?
Lockdown Records presents a Hip Hop Christmas. You'll get such classics as Santa Claus is Coming on, Jingle Balls, I'm Dreaming of a White Woman, and who could forget Frosty the Dope Man? And how about All I Want for Christmas is the Charges Dropped? These nuts roasted on an open fire, a sleigh ride in my 64, and yep, it's Christmas, and many more. Get this new CD set in stores just $19.99.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to smoke your relatives. Please. No! I didn't do it by myself. Whitney and Bobby help me. Please. No! No! Wait. No.
What up, Tamika?
Oh my God. I saw something burning. Oh, it's me. I got an idea. Wait a second! Oh, come on, Shorty! Oh, hack it to the head! Hack it to the head! You take it like a...
Put the shorty down! Onions and Cheetos!
Burn more than a bird!
Said put the shorty down. Damn. What up, Tamika Davis? Y'all know to go check her out. She's very supportive. Make sure y'all tap in with her community post. She's not a content creator. She's just a supporter. Make sure y'all go over there and support anybody y'all see her dropping on you.
That's how Hugh came. He was a really evil man. And I found a picture of his wife.
I don't care about that part. We done seen the shorty getting smoked scene before they try to flag me for that. Hell, the first part of the video they tried to already flag me for that first video. I might have another fucking warning or a strike. Who cares? The show goes on.
Delta 8. Everything from weed, edibles, vapes, tinctures, and more was showing up in every gas station and vape shop across the nation. At first, people had questions. How is this stuff legal if it gets you high? How is it made? And is it even safe to consume? But regardless of the skepticism, Delta 8 soon became a $2 billion industry. An industry that
my
sold its
paperwork right here. Don't be trying to
products
take my
all 50
information.
states, all legally. However, as the years went on, the dark side of Delta 8 was fully exposed. With multiple brands containing heavy metals like nickel, copper, and lead, lab-grown products lying about being natural, and much, much more, it became clear that Delta 8 was not what it seemed. So, where did it all start? Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the Farm Bill of 2018. At face value, this piece of federal legislation seems pretty innocent. Its main intent was to provide support and stability to U.S. farmers by enhancing farm support programs, improving crop insurance, and maintaining disaster programs, among other things. However, the most notable part of the Farm Bill was the legalization of hemp farming and distribution. And I know what you're thinking. This looks exactly like the plant that makes weed. While that's true, there is a noticeable difference between the two. You see, the hemp plant and marijuana plant are both considered cannabis plants, but hemp contains less than 0.3% of delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol, marijuana's primary psychoactive chemical. On the other hand, marijuana contains greater than 0.3%. Also, legalizing it allowed U.S. farmers to use hemp in the production of fiber, rope, food, and more. So removing it from being a Schedule I drug seemed like a no-brainer for Congress. However, this small amendment to the Farm Bill would eventually be responsible for creating one of the biggest unregulated drug industries the U.S. has ever seen. It didn't take long for cannabis entrepreneurs to discover a huge money-making
What up? Y'all know to go check out the big homie Cooking with Love and More.
The language of the
He got
hemp
about 5 or
amendment
6
made it clear
YouTube
that
channels, so
Congress
good
was
luck.
only worried about the levels of
Y'all gonna be
delta-9
busy the rest of the night
They
checking
made no
him out.
mention of any restrictions on any other cannabinoids that were in hemp,
Shouts out to bro coming through.
Delta 8. Now, fair warning, I'm going
Appreciate
to
you.
talk a little bit of chemistry here, so if you failed it in college like I did, don't worry.
It's a
I'll
good
try to
thing you here,
explain
bro,
this
because
as
you right on
simple as
time for me to
possible.
fire in the
Contains
hole.
over 100 cannabinoids that all have different effects
Hopefully
on
you got one
the body.
twisted. If
Delta-9
not,
is the most famous one, because it's what gets
Tell
you
Miss
high.
Palmer to
But
help
there's
you out
also
and roll you
Delta
one.
8, which is extremely similar to Delta 9. They have
He
the
probably
same
got two
chemical
phones
formula,
working it
identical
just like
molecular
me.
weights, and similar psychological effects on the body. The only difference between the two is this tiny double bond in its chemical structure. Now, regulating or banning Delta 8 didn't make much sense to Congress because the hemp plant and cannabis plants in general naturally contain tiny amounts of Delta 8. But cannabis entrepreneurs were able to change that. Through a chemical process, they were able to synthetically transform all of the CBD in hemp, which is another legal cannabinoid, into Delta 8. And better for them, they could do so in huge quantities, enough to where it was commercially viable for them to make a profit. With this chemical process in hand and their sights set on making millions, these entrepreneurs began extracting massive amounts of completely legal psychoactive Delta 8 and began to create more in all 50 states. By the time 2020 rolled.
Alright, since we didn't get bag number 1 out of 5 done, we're gonna get into bag number 2. We already started with the stormtroopers. Y'all see they out here ready to miss their shots, so I think that's why they don't even get guns. They're just sitting there waiting on Lord Vader. Now they get guns. I gotta find them though. They're probably in the little bitty bags, but they'll get their guns here in a minute. Shouts out to the having the guns and music and more. See, the big homie done got me spitting bars like him. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, appreciate it. What'd he say? I forgot what this was called. My homeboy had grew it outdoor, but you know, he threw me some for doing the drying and curing for him on it. So, you know, shout out to networking. But it smells good because I've been smoking it for like a couple days now. So, shouts out to him.
Around, people across the US started to find Delta 8 everywhere. It seemed like overnight that jars full of weed littered gas station counters, and edibles were proudly shown on vape shop shelves, even in prohibition states. This seemed insane to people, especially in those states where weed was illegal. But that didn't stop them from being curious. Throughout 2020, Google searches for Delta 8 skyrocketed by 850%. And with that, consumers gave the drug a try. While probably terrified that these mysterious ExxonMobil gas station drugs were going to kill them, a good majority of users found Delta 8 to be very pleasant. They discovered that Delta 8 was sort of like a diet weed, giving them similar benefits to Delta 9 while not getting them incredibly baked. Delta 8 quickly became the fastest growing segment of hemp-derived products, with sales estimated to be around $200 million. Now, while that number was dwarfed by marijuana's roughly $20 billion in sales the same year, it was clear that Delta 8 was a force of nature, a force that the FDA was very concerned about. As Delta 8 became more popular throughout 2021 and 2022, the agency simply couldn't ignore it. A drug that had not been evaluated or approved by the FDA was getting into the hands of millions who could potentially be in severe danger from the drug's unknown effects. So the FDA began digging, and what they found was very concerning. They discovered that many of the brands selling Delta 8 made erroneous claims that their products could treat medical conditions like pain relief and cancer-related symptoms while also being a great dietary supplement. And they were doing so while ignoring the fact that all of these claims had to legally be approved by the FDA. But these insane marketing claims were just the start of the problems. From 2021 to 2022, over 100 people reported to the agency that the Delta 8 products they used were causing some serious side effects. Side effects that landed 55% of them in the hospital. Those adverse effects included hallucinations, vomiting, tremors, anxiety, dizziness, confusion, and loss of consciousness. Couple that with National Poison Control Centers reporting over 2,300 exposure cases related to Delta 8 products, where 41% involved children, 70% required hospital evaluations, and one death occurred, and it was clear that the FDA needed to act fast. In May of 2022, they issued 5 warning letters to some of the most popular Delta 8 companies on the market, forcing them to shut down operations within 15 days or face legal action. They were trying to make it clear to the public that they weren't going to fuck around when it came to regulating this new drug. But little did the FDA know that this new drug would be much, much worse than what they ever thought it would be. Throughout 2022, several more studies, surveys, and research were done to find the real truth about Delta 8. How was it made? What was even in the stuff? And is it safe to consume? Everyone wanted to find the answers, and the answers they found were shocking. To start, researchers wanted to investigate the claim that Delta 8 was purely natural. This was a huge selling point across multiple brands and was labeled on all sorts of products. But was it actually true? Well, remember that chemical process I mentioned earlier where entrepreneurs could transform CBD into Delta 8? When you break down what actually happens during that process, you can start to see how unnatural Delta 8 really is. Everything starts with the CBD in hemp, which can be anywhere between 1 to 20% concentration depending on the strain. That CBD is then dissolved in a solvent like hexane, and from there it undergoes a process of adding acid and heat, eventually transforming into Delta 8. The 0.1% of Delta 8 naturally found in hemp turns into a 1 to 20% batch of purely synthetic garbo, roughly 10 to 200 times more, which is plenty enough to sell commercially. So yeah, this chemical process completely gets rid of any trace of any naturally derived Delta 8 in these products. But it also does something much worse. In another study, a mass spectrometer was used on 27 different Delta 8 products across 10 available brands. And what it found in those products might get your stomach turning. None of the products contain the advertised amount of Delta 8, with almost all of them containing up to 40% less than reported. Instead, in its place were heavy metals, like magnesium, chromium, nickel, copper, zinc, mercury, lead, and silicone. Ingesting these metals in any form obviously leads to adverse side effects, which can start with symptoms like shortness of breath or chest pain, but can lead to worse problems like kidney dysfunction, nervous system disorders, skin lesions, immune system dysfunction, and birth defects. Also found in these products was hydrochloric acid, the acid used in the synthetic process, and a 13% concentration of more unstudied cannabinoids. So yeah, those Delta 8 gummies you see at your local shelf aren't really what they seem to be. With this information published to the public, you would think that consumers would maybe second guess their choice to smoke some Delta 8 reefer. But it didn't seem to stop anyone. As a matter of fact, the Delta 8 industry exploded through 2023. The US market for Delta 8 and other hemp-derived cannabinoids increased 1,283%, from $200 million in sales in 2020 to $2.8 billion in 2023. It was clear as day. The market for Delta 8 products was running full steam ahead, with little to nothing stopping it. The FDA was issuing more warnings to more companies, but that was only putting the tiniest of dents in the massive production and sale of the new drug. It seemed like the FDA couldn't do anything about this, and Delta 8 was teed up to be the next ginormous unregulated drug industry. But there's a tiny piece of information I've been keeping from you guys that could drastically affect the future of Delta 8 forever. You see, the Farm Bill of 2018 isn't a set-in-stone piece of legislation. For its entire existence since 1933, the Farm Bill legally has to get revoted every 5 years, with the exception of Congress having the ability to extend the previous Farm Bill for another year. This means that it can change at any time every half-decade, and allows for new rules and regulations to be put into place wherever need be. The 2018 Farm Bill was extended before it was set to expire in September of 2023, which means that in September of 2024, anything can change about it, including the laws around hemp. Now, is this a guarantee that Delta 8 products will vanish by the end of 2024? Probably not. But there's sure as hell going to be a push from the FDA and DEA to get the Farm Bill amended to restrict selling synthetically created drugs, or at least give them the power to do so. For now, Delta 8 is still a thriving industry, with its long-term effects unknown and very few restrictions in place on what's in it, how it's marketed, and how it's made.
Hope you don't mind. We made some tea. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm the bloke you're stealing from. The name's Alistair Rigby, but as far as you're concerned, I'm Willy fucking Wonka, and you're taking a shit at my fucking chocolate factory. Easy, boss. Don't get upset. When I have to go to the dentist, I'm upset. When Liverpool beats Arsenal, I'm upset. But when some little shit decides to take over one of the most profitable territories in the country, I'm beyond fucking upset. I'm very fucking upset. So, from now on, you're under new management. You will work for me, and in return, you'll receive an allowance.
Allowance?
Yes, allowance. As in, I'm allowing you to keep 10%, and I'm allowing you to keep drawing breath on this earth. Now, you either get down, or you lay down. What's it gonna be, sunshine?
This wasn't no movie. The smart thing was to say yes, get up, and leave the room. But then I thought to myself, what if this was a movie? Look, fuck you, fuck the plane you flew in on, fuck them shoes, fuck your socks with the bell on it, fuck your gay-ass fairy faggot accent, fuck them cheap-ass cigars, fuck your yuck-mouth teeth, fuck your hairpiece, fuck your chocolate, fuck Guy Ritchie, fuck Prince William, fuck the Queen. This is America. My president is black and my Lambo is blue, nigga. Now get the fuck out of my hotel room. And if I see you in the street, I'm slapping the shit out of you.
I think this one spent so much time in the cinema. Teach this cheeky bastard a lesson.
Nobody fucking move!
Oh man, this is bad.
What is this?
All right, Scully. I know you'll leave it running in the background. Come back through after you get through with that delicious pie hell. Lord knows I was fat before I started this. Let's see, I need 2 more of those. That one and that one. And that's what I just did. Bam.
If cannabis isn't
I don't even
actually
know
a
if I'm
gateway
going to show
drug,
him
then
on camera.
why is it still
I just listened to
illegal?
him for a
Particularly
while.
when the
'cause
current
I ain't
administration
trying to
said
have
they
him
were going
black
to
me out, but you can
de-schedule
hear
it.
him
And
in the
who
back,
on
right?
earth thinks that the solution to all of this might be to bomb Mexico? Why are they still criminalizing drugs? Hello there, you 6.4 million awakening wonders. Thanks for joining me on this voyage to truth and freedom. Turn on the notification bell right now so you receive our daily
Make sure
videos
I
and
watch it.
continue to awaken yourself, open your mind, determine for yourself truth from fiction,
That was step
propaganda
44
from
also.
free information, so that we can form new systems, new communities, and awaken together. This is a fantastic video today. We're talking about drug decriminalisation on the back of a debate on Fox News where Judge Janine predictably said the solution might be bomb Mexico. Is there a single problem that Judge Janine doesn't think can't be solved with a bomb? Usually on Mexico. Look at these problems in Iran. Could we bomb Mexico? But there's no... Come on, let's try it. Try it. And remember, Joe Biden did run on a pledge to deschedule cannabis use. So what is it about drug use and the potential awakening of minds and changing of perspective that means that drugs are continually used to fence people in and hem people in? Let's have a look at the Fox News debate.
Look, I think you should target the cartels while you negotiate with them, and I also think you got to legalize drugs. I mean, the only way you're going to have quality control, like prescriptions, and the only way you're going to stop fentanyl poisonings would be to legalize these drugs, which people want.
Seems like a sensible solution proposed by Greg Gutfeld, a libertarian or indeed liberal solution, allowing people to do what they want as long as it doesn't affect other people. There is some precedent for decriminalisation, notably in Portugal. Since it decriminalised all drugs in 2001, Portugal has seen dramatic drops in overdoses, HIV infection and drug-related crime. So it has been tried successfully.
The problem isn't with the dealers. The problem is with us, right? We're the demand. They're just the supplier. You know what? You want to know who the drug dealers are? Snoop Dogg was a drug dealer.
Ooh, I like Snoop Dogg.
Jay-Z was a drug dealer.
Ooh, I like Jay-Z.
50 Cent was a drug dealer.
Love 50.
Mark Wahlberg was a drug dealer.
Mark, gotta love him.
Tim Allen.
Tim Allen? From Home Improvement? Tim Allen? Let's get weird.
And you know who opened this segment? Oh, Kid Rock was a drug dealer.
Drugs, yes. Bud Light. No.
There's a lot of hypocrisy from Republicans. What do they love and preach to everybody? Capitalism. What do they hate? Regulating it. What is the drug market? unregulated capitalism. A lot, but for the first rung onto that ladder of capitalism often is drug dealing.
Change of tone for a how dare you prevent men and women from getting a foot on the ladder. Fantastic. Judge Janine's not going to stand for all this. She's already reaching for the Bomb Mexico button. This sounds like Bomb Mexico territory. Bomb them. Bomb them.
They legalized drugs in Portland, essentially, and everyone's dying and sleeping on the streets.
Well, everyone.
Do you agree that we should legalize drugs, Judge Janine?
Let me ask you a question. What do you think my answer is to that? Absolutely not.
Okay.
We can't legalize it. And look, here's the
drug
thing.
war is working great.
Well, no, because we're not doing everything we need to be doing.
Arrest more people?
No, what
because
we
they're
need
seeking
to
oblivion?
No. Arrest? No, not yet. Judge Janine has found a measure a little harsher than just plain arrest.
Crippled. We heard this drug czar saying they're going to know that we're serious. Are you kidding? We need to designate them as foreign terrorists.
Right. Finally, some common sense. Here's Greg Gutfield saying that they're entrepreneurs and Judge Janine terrorists. There's some pretty diverse views over there on Fox.
So that we can go after them the way we go after terrorists, we need to have military strikes.
Yes, it's a war. The war on drugs. We all remember how successful that war on drugs has been from our own horrible struggle with drugs and from the opioid deaths of the last few years.
I don't care if President Obrador in Mexico thinks we're rude or thinks it's an insult that we would consider doing this. The truth is that if you've got 100,000 people dying, we're in a damn war right now. And these kids are not dying because they want to take fentanyl. They're dying because they want to take an oxycodone.
This is extraordinary because the debate is from the pharmaceutical companies who deliberately and manipulatively encouraged doctors financially to prescribe fentanyl knowing that it was addictive and harmful. So this is an example, I suppose, of how the mainstream media, even in their framing of a conversation, prevents you from looking at the issue in its entirety. While I recognise that Fox News have been quite overt in their covering of the opioid crisis, fentanyl, the Sackler family, Purdue Pharma, all of that.
Right
here, they seem to be moving once again towards, do you know who caused all this? It's Mexicans. That's
Okay,
why you
and
legalize
it's
it.
an undeclared war.
Yeah, we getting it down.
That's
Yes.
not why you legalize
That's
it.
where you get the control of it. When it
Really?
look, read about Prohibition. The reason why people died during Prohibition was because the alcohol wasn't controlled.
Greg Gutfield very much carrying on the mantle left behind by Tucker Carlson of providing a genuinely liberal and anti-establishment voice in a corporatized space. I wouldn't have believed it possible just 5-10 years ago that you would ever see someone on Fox News who was salaried by them saying that drugs should be decriminalized, that the pharmaceutical industry are worse than drug dealers, ensuring that the debate is handled deftly.
Okay.
Once you control pills,
So
then you know it's an Adderall.
So
then
we're
you know
gonna
it's a
make
Xanax.
fentanyl so that it's not lethal anymore?
Fentanyl is legal, by the way.
Lethal.
No, yes.
Lethal, like a bomb. It's going to be landing any minute in Acapulco.
But it's also legal.
I know it's legal. Doctors prescribe
It's also
it.
lethal on the street, but not
it's
lethal when it's prescribed.
Well, it's not
See?
lethal when it's prescribed. Yeah,
Yes,
I
that's
get
my
it. But
point.
here's the problem, is that the kids who don't want necessarily an illegal drug and only want something that's ordinary and that it's in everybody's medicine cabinet end up taking something
Because
like...
it's not regulated, because they get mixed. You're agreeing with me.
I'm not agreeing with you.
Yes,
No,
the reason why people... Look, I have had 2 friends die of overdoses from fentanyl.
We
for
all
the
have
same-
had
for the
friends
same
who
reason
died.
you're...
We've all had friends die of overdose. That's why I got to bomb Mexico.
For the same reason you're talking about.
You know
They
what?
didn't know they were taking it.
Yeah,
If it was
okay.
legal, that wouldn't have happened.
You know what?
Follow.
But the truth is that people follow. But the truth is that people are dying of these overdoses because they don't think that there's fentanyl in it, or they don't know that there's that much.
I will rest my case. That's what I said.
First of all, let me say this was a fascinating conversation.
Firstly, you guys have got a great marriage.
Straight made his argument. They just don't know it's
And I
fentanyl in
tend
it.
to agree with
So if you can
Greg.
legally
After
buy drugs, you
trillions
can
of
legally
dollars
know what was
in the
in it.
failed war on drugs, I don't think that
Since you
prohibition...
don't know what the
we
fuck
haven't
you
done the
buy.
war
And
properly.
I also think...
Do
You
the
don't know
war
what the fuck's in it.
properly with greater wars. Afghanistan, okay, maybe not Afghanistan. Iraq, okay.
Say no is not a war.
That's like just burying your head in the sand, ignoring a problem with a ludicrous catchphrase. To be fair to Judge Janine.
You
You
reference...
take out the drug pens.
But let me interrupt this cavalcade of radical rhetoric to tell you that not all commerce is necessarily bad, certainly not the commerce that supports this channel with their products. Let's have a look at another version of me amusingly endorsing those products. Hello there, you awakening wonders. Today's show is brought to you by Manscaped, who are the best in men's below the waist and below the snout and within the ear grooming. Their
And
products
we're
are
on step
precision engineered tools like our
50.
analysis for your family jewel.
50.
Manscaped's performance package is the
Putting in that
ultimate
homework.
men's hygiene
2025.
bundle. You get the lawnmower.
Started
This trimmer is
playlist
the
right after
future of
Thanksgiving, so
grooming,
we already
and
over
some
100
say the
videos
greatest ball
deep.
trimmer ever.
Make sure
You
y'all
get
go
the
check out
weed
the
whacker,
homework
crop
playlist, the workbook
preserver ball
playlist, the
deodorant. Although if there is
TWC
an odor,
playlist, the What's Poppin'
there just shouldn't
playlist,
be an odor
the
on your balls.
TWP
But if
playlist,
there is, this will
and
rid you of it.
any
The
other
crop
playlist that y'all
reviver
see, 'cause you know we do that.
performance
Support.
boxer briefs,
Run
and a
with
travel
them.
bag to hold your goodies. In this case, the goodies are the products, not your reproductive organs. Join over 7 million men worldwide, not literally, that'll be unhygienic, you'd be ankle deep in pubic hair, who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BRAND at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code BRAND. Oh, it's really actually quite satisfying because you can hear it. Can you hear that? That's the sound of youth returning.
If you could take out the drug kits, I mean, target the cartels with military strikes,
right?
As several prominent Republicans are advocating, then why can't Mexico target our gun manufacturers? Because we're flooding Mexico with guns, hundreds of thousands of guns every year that they're using in all this violence.
Guns don't get up and say I'm going to go out today and kill somebody.
That's not the drugs, though. She's amazing, Josh Janine. Guns don't just get up on their own and kill people. Your drugs don't just get up on their own to give themselves to people. It's the exact same argument, and quite a good one from a beautiful Guess Who character.
If we're going to bomb Mexico, why don't we bomb China? China's the source of the fentanyl.
Right.
I mean, you just cannot. You cannot do
all right,
these
so
kinds
let's
of actions.
legalize it.
That's
See
why
how
I
good
think
that goes.
I've covered every drug from 1970. I was there when Nixon started the war on drugs. It's not working. It doesn't work. We've got to confess it at a certain point. Trillions of dollars wasted, no controls. It's
What's killed more people, alcohol or pot?
Exactly.
It's the easiest comparison one could make.
Exactly.
There are a lot of very
Damn, he said which one
progressive,
did more
liberal
damage.
views being expressed in this
Oh,
debate,
yeah,
and it's an
there. What
indication
up,
of
Vaughn?
how
What's
much
going
the
on with you?
taxonomies
Hopefully
of
you're doing
media
good, smoking
have
good.
shifted. It would have been unthinkable to see a debate where views were expressed articulately that were anti the war on drugs or anti-legislation and regulation and criminalisation and condemnation around those issues. And it shows you, in a sense, that the old barometers, markers and categories are starting to melt away. Whether it's legitimate or sincere, I would say in the case of Greg Gutfield, having met Greg, that it is sincere. Elsewhere it might be rhetorical on the channel. I'm in no position to really say. But what this tells us, I think, is that the old values are shifting. This is somewhat underpinned by the recent revelation through a study that cannabis is not, as long presumed, a gateway drug at all. Legalising recreational cannabis at the state level does not increase substance use disorders or use of other illicit drugs among adults, and in fact may reduce alcohol-related problems, according to new EU Boulder research. The study of more than 4,000 twins from Colorado and Minnesota also found no link between cannabis legalization and increases in cognitive, psychological, social relationship or financial problems. Of course, one of the campaign pledges of the Biden administration was that cannabis would be descheduled. Let's see how that went. In a campaign ad that hit YouTube 7 days before the 2020 election, Biden said, as president, I'll work to reform the criminal justice system, improve community policing, decriminalize marijuana, and automatically expunge all prior marijuana convictions. According to a Gallup poll last fall, 68% of Americans said that they wanted to go beyond Biden's promise. They want full federal legalization of the recreational use of marijuana by adults. The kinds of big dramatic steps in that direction that Biden promised would be attention grabbing and base mobilizing. It has 83% support among Democrats, but best of all, it wouldn't even be a potent issue for mobilizing conservative voters. That poll showed slightly more Republicans were for it, 50%, than against it, 49%. Other polls in the last few years have put the Republican for number even higher. A Pew poll in November 2019 found that 55% of Republican-leaning voters were pro-legalization. When something like this has broad appeal and is broadly popular across both parties, I have genuine questions as to why it's not carried, and I feel that it might indicate a deeper set of psychological biases at an institutional level, as well as a means to incarcerate, stigmatize, and criminalize people conveniently. Eventually, drugs will become decriminalised, if not fully legalised, because it simply doesn't make sense. It's a relic from a more legislative and prohibitive era that can't withstand the kind of conversations that we're currently having around identity, freedom, the right to be who you are. If you have the right to change aspects of their biological nature, which again I have no strong opinion on, I support individual freedom full stop, then an issue like this is one that needs to be looked at. Hell, there's even a case for it from a pro-business Republican perspective. Legal weed businesses would finally be allowed to accept credit card payments. And yet, in April 22, he was reviewing powers that no one anywhere doubts that he has. Has Biden just forgotten? Unlikely. Last July, 3 of the most high-profile senators in the Democratic caucus, 2020 presidential candidates Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and Cory Booker, sent Biden a letter urging the administration to use its existing authority to deschedule cannabis. They have a comparable authority when it comes to controlling pharmaceutical prices for serious diseases. We did a video on how a cancer drug that costs $100,000 a month could be white-labeled or threatened with white-label regulation, meaning it will be cheaply available to those that need it. So there are sort of areas of legislation
the video. We got this Lego build going on.
If something doesn't make rational sense, to me it's an indication that there's a sort of a faith-based ideological component that isn't obvious and evident. You know, folks, it's just like Biden promised explicitly more than once, and in so many words, he would do when he was running for president. It's also like the overwhelming majority of Americans want him to do. Biden was a hardcore war on drugs hawk for most of his Senate career. Why did he promise to deschedule cannabis when he was running for president? It's hard to see an answer to that question other than he knew it would be good politics. When Fox News is continually attacked, and we've participated in attacking Fox News, and yet they have more progressive, open-minded views on decriminalisation than the apparently Democrat president, it makes you wonder what really controls American administration. How are decisions genuinely made? This is another example of not only the fact that pledges are made when running for office that simply aren't carried out during administration, but also that there appear to be guiding principles that are not obvious and evident, and are certainly not connected to the will of ordinary people. Let me know what you think in the chat and the comments. I say all of this as a person in recovery who doesn't use drugs or alcohol one day at a time for a number of reasons, primarily spiritual. Let's have a look at the benefits of a new attitude towards drug and criminalisation at the level of the state. Decriminalisation changes the way we think about drugs. Drugs will no longer be treated as a criminal issue, but instead a health and social one. This means that instead of addressing drugs through handcuffs, the focus will be on the root causes of drug use, including inequities rooted in housing and healthcare. Perhaps it's these deep roots that cause legislation to remain entrenched, that you have to acknowledge that ultimately drugs, when used pathologically, are a response to trauma, sadness, social decline, all points that are covered by Greg Gutfeld in that debate, and seemingly unacknowledged by the Biden administration, which doesn't seem to tally with how most Democrats would regard Fox News versus the Democrat Party. What's happening? Decriminalisation saves governments money. A large proportion of the justice system, police, courts, prisons, are occupied with drug-related crimes. As seen in other decriminalised jurisdictions, such as Portugal, it can reduce the demands and costs to this system. Considering the demonstrated need for addiction and mental health resources, the money saved could be well spent elsewhere, such as community-led responses, healthcare, housing, and social programs. For example, eliminating criminal records related to drug possession offences promotes opportunities for people to access employment and housing. Interactions between people who use drugs and police can also be reduced, or better yet, won't happen at all. Decriminalisation reduces stigma. Negative views towards drugs and people who use them is a major factor in the overdose crisis. By reshaping the way our family, friends, and the medical profession think about drugs, drugs can be talked about more openly and honestly. Reducing stigma can also encourage people who use drugs to talk to their doctors about prescription-based therapies. At the very least, it will help bring drug use out from isolation, where fatal overdoses tend to be the highest. I suppose that failure to change this legislation reveals that the government are the population that they are charged with governing and out of touch with their own declared ethics. It's another indication that there's been a divorce between the public and the people that govern them, and that there are shifting sands in the media landscape where presumed opinions are starting to shift and alter. It also indicates that authoritarianism now is housed within the left, and in particular within the Democrat Party. Not that I'm saying that the Republican Party is meaningfully better, just that the liberalism that used to underwrite the modern Democratic Party is no longer in evidence, even with an issue that would seem, according to this article, like an easy win. So what does that indicate? That authoritarianism, the ability to legislate and the ability to control, is more important to them than fulfilling their promises or cost-effective policies that would make a difference in people's lives. We all saw in the last couple of years that the tendency to legislate and support big pharma almost appeared to have a kind of tidal
55.
power rather than
It was those pieces which went in these positions right
although some people feel that
here,
decriminalisation may increase or encourage drug use, this concern is simply not supported by evidence.
We know from dozens of
Yeah, get in the book and do it yourself.
Decriminalised drugs, the use does not significantly increase. In some places, it's actually decreased. Decriminalisation also lowers overdose and disease rates while increasing people's access to social services and healthcare. In this way, a decriminalisation model is a basic harm reduction approach, mitigating the harms experienced by people who use drugs by eliminating or minimising the source of those harms, criminalisation. Overall, the notion of decriminalisation is not a panacea or a standalone solution to the harms of drug prohibition, but it is a critical step in the right direction. It will have a positive impact on the lives of so many people who are harmed daily from criminalisation. This, I suppose, is an attitude that could be applied to drug use across the board, from less harmful substances like cannabis all the way to plainly more toxic substances like heroin. Within it is the revelation of a philosophy that's closer to Judge Janine there, bomb them, arrest them, control them, wage war on them, than Greg Gutfield, who's, let's face it, espousing liberal, sensible views that are focused on the sources of the problem rather than attacking the symptoms. That's what progressivism used to mean. Having an assessment of social situations and individual liberty that's about practical solutions rather than imposing regulation and legislation and criminality on people when it's actually completely unnecessary and ultimately harmful. What does it indicate then? I would say it's almost an indication of an unconscious desire to control, an unwillingness to fulfill pledges and promises that would meaningfully benefit people. And as a person in recovery myself from drug addiction to a whole raft of substances, I can tell you from personal experience, both from me as an individual and the people that I've spent time with and worked with, that criminalisation is an obstacle to recovery. It stops people getting well, it puts problems and barriers in their way, increases prison populations, it damages people's health, it breaks down society and the social fabric. And if you're a deeply cynical person, you would say that the state government, in alliance with global corporatists, have a vested interest in the continuing dismantling of our social systems, so that what they're dealing with is a disparate, broken population rather than a healthy, fit and awakened one. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments in the chat. Hit the notification bell because we make these videos every day and we want you to see them all. But more important than any of that is that you please stay free.
My father's first instinct, which was a good instinct, it turns out, was the CIA. I was almost 10 years old when my uncle was killed. And I was standing in the White House, in the foyer of the White House with my aunt Jackie Kennedy and my mother and my father. My uncle's body was in the east. I, at that point, like many Americans, was asking questions because this didn't look right.
How can you speak out openly against these kind of interests, let alone try and mobilise a political movement and stand against them without serious fear of, well, assassination?
It wasn't just Fauci, it was the whole U.S. intelligence military apparatus that was basically
simply not possible for you to answer that question on YouTube.
They were bragging that they could kill everybody, basically everybody in the world, for 29 cents a person.
What you're saying, Robert, even leaves many hardened conspiracy theorists quivering like Boy Scouts.
None of this is stuff that we should be doing.
Quite bloody terrifying.
This is a war where Ukraine has been made a victim, not just by Russia, but by the United States government. We have to just say, wait a minute, we got to stop fighting each other, and we got to go after the people who have their jackboot on our head. It's time.
Alright, so that's step 57 and 58. Shouts out to getting them done, boys. Hey, I'm trying to tell y'all, we be running through them. We be running through that pack. We be running through that pack. I ain't doing too much for y'all today, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully y'all had a nice New Year's. Got a little drunk last night, not too much, you know, I don't do too much drinking. I celebrate though. Hey, I was asleep before the gunshot started. Shouts out to y'all crazy motherfuckers who spent all that money on ammo. Shooting big too.
Hell, back in the 60s, we smoked the shit on the street. Cops didn't say that. Hell, it's getting high too. Everybody was good. It wasn't a thing to do because it was a thing to do, you know. It was a thing to do because it got you high. Can you do?
I feel you. Nah, that's why I'm doing it. I feel it. Man, you cool as shit, mister. I hate to do it, but I gotta charge it. That's $60. $60.
Yeah. And I remember when a dime bag cost a dime. You know what I mean? You know how much condoms used to cost back in them days?
How much?
I don't know. We never used them.
welcome to office hours. This is something that we're going to start doing here at the collateral base. Maybe I should have a little piece of branding on it. Doesn't fit too well, but we're going to go over, and that one's also didn't show up that well. We're going to talk a little bit about how to run a board meeting at our first office hours, and every month we're going to have one of these to explain how our firm works and answer your questions at the end with announcements. We're going to be using a Robert's Rules of Order style of agenda in it. I don't think it's going to take, hopefully it'll answer some of the questions that you have about the firm. So how did those people come by the firm? Well, they probably Googled cannabis lawyer, and then if they Googled cannabis lawyer, they would have found us right here on this one. And globally, I guess we're positioned 7.3, and then they were directed to this page, and then if not this page, one of the many pages beneath it that has the SEO acumen to get out there. For example, and then of course you filled out this form. This form would have led you to our firm. Here we are at the collateral base. This is the landing page / portal that we have, and from here you can retain the firm. And what do you get when you retain the firm? Well, you get access to us, and then you also get this software portal that we're going to be discussing and going over, and then more stuff that we can also talk about. So let's dive into that. This is our software portal that we have, and I'm going to kind of walk you around it. So like after you've retained the firm, then you're going to get several emails, and then you're also going to have the ability to log out from that and then sit down with us and discuss your business. So you get a login to our collateral base portal, and you log in, and that'll direct you to your user area. Let's go and look around your user area. Some of you probably already logged in. Some of you might be on the fence about like, well, why do I need to use this type of software for running my company? The benefits are quite numerous. The cannabis industry is one that we serve predominantly, and it doesn't mean that's the only one we serve. We have clients that are in other industries that are highly regulated or capital intensive, and in those industries, you really want to make sure that your contracts are all in order and nothing goes wrong, especially if there's partners and large amounts of money or liabilities on the line. And that's why we use this collateral-based system, because if you've been in the cannabis industry long enough, you usually have a story about some shady dealings or some shady partners, and you really wished that your contracts would have been really, really tight. The other thing is contracts are everywhere now, and you can get them, and then they don't necessarily
mean shit.
You may not appreciate all of the provisions that are in them, and having an attorney that can help you see those things and protect the company is very important. And it shouldn't be trivialized. I mean, it's kind of like you don't want to have the incorrect amount of insurance, and you also don't want to have some type of gaping hole that may cost a large amount of liabilities down the road. That's why I use this, and the thing that we're going to be going over, let's look around first, all right? So this is your user area. Here's our matters. We're going to be going over this board meeting minutes, and that's actually already up right over here, and I'm going to call this meeting to order. I'm going to put it into fit though, so you guys can see. And I created this document through the collateral-based portal, and you can find it right over here. And so you go here, and then this will allow you to say select from menu of services. Some things are free. You've already retained the firm if you have access to this, so you don't have to worry about that one. I might actually just, no, I can't take that down because you have to publish them somewhere. But here's our board meetings and then our board resolutions. This is your run your business area or segment. And then there's your sell and exit your business. We're also going to be adding preserve your legacy or generational wealth, and we'll have some estate planning stuff there. And they all have prices. Now, these are all in our systems. And one of the reasons why you hire a lawyer is so that you don't have to do it. And if you are busy and you can't get in touch with us, you can start doing it yourself. We're going to charge you the same amount, and then you can just have us do it with our system. And then either way, when it's done, we're going to put it into the collateral base in your user area, I'm going to go back to my dashboard. And then at my dashboard, there is the ability to book a meeting. And your retainer comes with one of these per month. And then not only that, you will get email notifications and also a text notification that says, hey, let's sit down and discuss your business, and 1 hour of email support a month. So the thing that we're going to get into now is actually the meeting minutes. And so you click into that, and this could be any of the contracts, your operating agreement, or you are working today on, and we're going to be putting a lease agreement up here soon in the system. And of course, we would also have back end so we can just do it for you. But after we had it done, then we would send it out for e-signature, and that's something that you can do here. See, send for signing. You can select what you want to sign. In theory, we could have a fairly complex closing stack of documents that we could be sending for signature. And that's the other nice thing, you know.
Step 61 and 62.
They want me to sign in the hello side, so I'm not going to do that right now. But having a lawyer that's there to help you get through your due diligence process all the way to closing is quite important.
Spin it around.
Now I'm hopefully not caught in a, I was able to go, but then now I'm logged out. Sometimes when you click into things, they won't allow you to go back, and that is by design. Anyway, let's get into our meeting minutes, and it has to close that out. That is annoying. Open with Word for the web. You can start editing your contracts that you have in our system. So like we could be editing this while we're discussing it. So after we've delivered the operating agreement to you, or whatever type of agreement, it doesn't have to be an operating agreement. It could be a lease agreement, it could be an option to purchase, it could be an asset purchase agreement, it could be any particular type of contract that we want to go over together so that you understand. And this isn't that. This is minutes. And so I'm using the Robert's Rule of Order agenda to structure our office hours. And so the first thing you do is you call the meeting to order, and of course you take roll, and I'm here, and then 6 of you are also here. One person's left a comment. Let's see, I'm having trouble getting on. Do I join legalization news? No, I did start a couple minutes late. Hopefully that person is on. And then after you take attendance, you move into discussion and actions. And so first is usually the reports of the officers. And as the report, I said report of the CEO, that's me, because I own the company. And only high-level details. They kind of give you instructions here about how to write the minutes. And so my report, I've already pretty much given it. We believe in this system because I don't want... I've had this call many times as I practice
It's installed.
and I'm trying to reduce the number of times that I have it.
Shouts out to making those installments.
People went into business too quickly. They didn't have the right type of contracts. They are out hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I do not have a time machine. I can't go back in time. But we can start now before it happens, and that's why we run the company like this. So we'd be going over, imagine this isn't an agenda for a board meeting, but what is a board meeting? It is the company living, for lack of a better term. Companies can only really live through their contracts and through the direction of their managers. Their board, for example, their board of directors, Twitter right now, its board of directors may sue Elon Musk because they might not honor the purchase agreement that he provided for them because he was going to buy them all out. They are a C Corp. You can run your LLC like a C Corp. You can, that's how LLCs work. They're quite flexible. But, this is our report of the CEO, just saying that you need to have the right contracts in place before the problem goes on. If you try to get them afterwards, contracts may fail, there may be actions for rescission, there may be breach of contract actions, there may be equitable claims that are attached to those, and then you got yourself a big stinking pile of litigation that I can't handle on summary judgment. For those who are playing at home, summary judgment is when you make a motion to a court saying that you're entitled to your relief as a matter of law because there's no facts in dispute. Now, if you have really tight contracts, and so everything is a business record that can be accepted, and there's no dispute of fact, then you are more likely to win that motion for summary judgment. If there are disputes of facts because you didn't keep very good business records. There was a lot of handshakes and side agreements, and those really weren't the deals, were they? And nobody ever signed it, and maybe the money has gone missing. That's a much more expensive lawsuit. And then it doesn't. Speed is important in lawsuits because people will dissipate assets. And by dissipate assets, I mean they take your money and then they spend it, or they move it somewhere that you can't find it. And it's the cannabis industry or banking, and it's the other one that I was in. And so watch out for your partners. Document. And now we'll move on to old business. As you may be aware, after the reports of the members, then you move on to the next thing, which is old business. And old business, we don't have very much because this is our first meeting that we're doing for office hours. We haven't done meetings before. This would be where you would discuss wherever the things that may have been tabled. And so if something is tabled, then we'll discuss it in old business next meeting. That means that maybe you've ordered some reports, or you want some more data, or you want some more time to think about it. You guys aren't ready to make a business judgment and a vote and decide on particular corporate resolutions and actions that your company is going to take, whether that is allowing
Step
new people
66
in,
and
or whether that
65.
is raising money, or whether that is selling business or pivoting. All sorts of different things can be resolved by your corporation or company in most cases, because we believe in LLCs. Now, our old business really is just that this is a software as a service model. Our retainer is priced in such a way that we think it isn't legal services. It is a software as a service, and not only that, it comes with some counseling. It comes with a consultation. We have a contract that our clients sign when they are signing up to retain our collateral-based firm, and then all of those details are spelled out in that. Maybe during the first meeting, we'd talk about the contract, and then you'd sign, you'd move forward, then we would talk about the hourly scope of your particular goal that you're trying to achieve for your business. And with that, we're going to move on to new business. New business is going to be a new thing that we're going to put on a couple of different YouTube channels. Trying to run our YouTube channel has been very, very difficult lately. I'm not sure if it's the Biden administration. I'm not sure if it's the what. But for whatever reason, you're not allowed to say what we're saying and get away with it. And so we don't understand it. We're just trying to change a silly law that's been outdated. And
Hell yeah, you
sure
want to go
that
check
people
out
who are
the
getting
big
into
homie,
it,
Big Brother
do
Bear.
so properly, have the right contracts, comply with all the local and state laws, and just run a good business,
Working through this box.
Anyway, that is what new business is going to be. New business is going to be a new segment on either Cannabis Legalization News or a YouTube channel that we might just retitle New Business, because that's really what we're going to be discussing. And then we'll have a guest on to discuss with me what particular service or value they add to the equation. Accountants, architects, people that have ancillaries in the emerging agriculture industry. Next month, we're going to have a trademark attorney on, and we'll discuss cannabis trademarks, how to get them, how to protect your brand, and then where that goes in the collateral basis menu of services. Because the collateral base, bank of your business, but instead of money, it's your company's documents and your contracts. And then not only your contracts, it would be your rights, like your IP rights, and then your license, and then your real estate. So we can help you with each one of those aspects. Now, after that, after new business, and we don't have one today because I'm just trying to show you around the system, you have announcements. And announcements is what we've come to now. This is where we would have questions and answers with the audience. If there are any questions and answers with the audience, please, by all means. This might be the last one that we do on YouTube, because we'll be moving these to Google, where we have the ability to raise your hand and then also record those episodes, and then we can edit out the new business segment and put it live on the internet so that you guys can learn about more things in the industry. So, any questions, all four of you? Probably not. And then after that, the next thing that you do after announcements is you entertain a motion to adjourn. So I'd entertain and second that motion to adjourn, which wraps up our first office hours. If anybody is just joining us now, I'm going to go over the collateral base software one more time, and then we can wrap it up. If there are any questions that you have, please email me at tom@collateralbase.com so that you can move forward and retain the firm and we can start working toward your business goals. Let's now dive into it and take a look around. So this is when you're looking at a particular matter that you're working on. The contract's not yet done. You know, you're not quite ready to send it out for signature.
All right,
but
that's
maybe
step
you get it to a
67.
point, you're like, all right, this is what we want the deal to be. Send it to the guy to review it. And then when you send it to me to review it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit you back with an email and say, hey, okay, I got that. Let's book some time together. Let's sit down and talk about it.
One
And then
extra
eventually
piece
you would
left
sign
out of
off
bag
and go
2.
to,
It's a small one.
your files.
But now
You
we're
would have
back
that
on the
thing
bag
signed,
3.
sealed, and delivered. And
So
then I
y'all
would
know
put
what
it
we
in
got to
the
do. We got to
electronic
check
creative
videos to
folder
make
that
sure
you
we
have.
still got
For
more
example,
content to be
if we're
reviewing
building a
because, you know,
cannabis
we've been going at
application
it.
together, they will go into the application folder. If it's going to be structuring and organizing your LLCs, we put that in your corporate docs folder. If this is going to be real estate development, there would be a folder in there marked real estate development.
Well, it looks like we're down to the last about, what, 9-10 minutes of this, and then about, oh, the outro. So yeah, we can wrap this up for tonight because you know, our lawyer gonna take us out of here. Then DJ is gonna pop up, and I'll get to looking at what's gonna go on bag 3.
And then trademarks and IPs, same thing. We put that in
Save
there.
some
If
for
there's a particular
Saturday,
piece of
right?
litigation, perhaps, we could also put that in your area. Now, one of the nice things is you can go to templates. You can create one. So you can create your own document in here with matters. That's, you know, the ones that we've already talked about. With dashboard, one of the things that I like is you can create a matter from scratch. Just by, let's say, you are already operating and you have a question about something with your current contract. Maybe you want me to help polish it up or give it some more teeth or see what I think about it where it might have some holes or some liability. You just upload it right in there and then you schedule a talk with me. And then I'd say, would you like this to be turned into a form so that you could use it again and again and again? Or what are you trying to accomplish? What's your user workflow currently? How do you send out this contract? All types of stuff like that. And then we come up with a plan so that you can run your business a little bit more effectively and be more protected in case something goes wrong. We do have a question. Are there certain tax documents that you need to provide to the investors and file with the IRS each tax year once you have investors? And then how do you document with the SEC? Do you file that every year? No, you don't file. Okay.
So anyways, bag 3 on our Lego set. It's going to be this area. So we'll have 3 rebels, the 2 stormtroopers, and another piece of the scenery done out on bag 3. And it says bag 4 starts on page 93, and bag 3 started on page 76. So it's like less than 18 pages on bag 3. So hopefully this weekend it won't take too damn long. Shouts out to these long ass videos. Yeah, I like it though. I like it. Putting in that homework. Hell, we ain't using cheat codes over here. Spider Pig get all the cheat codes. We just put in the work over here and let you see it.
So there's a few things. when you are doing a capital raise and you sell securities, and so let's say you're going to sell 25% of your LLC to an investor for $1 million, and that is something that would require you to file, I think it's a Reg D. I would have to look up what it is, but the SEC is not currently regulating cannabis companies because they're all illegal. And so there's that. But you are still supposed to file that within 14 days of receiving the money, that form with them. I don't know. I would expect that the vast majority of the companies that are raising the money aren't doing that. That's my hunch. You know, I could try to see and go and scrape some SEC databases to see how many companies are filing that, but that is something that you file because it is an exempt offering in a safe harbor. And we structure our subscription agreement that we have in our collateral base to comply with those sections of the, I think it's the 1933 Act. So it's whatever one created the SEC, and then there's another one from 1940. I think that was like the Investment Act, 1940. I need to polish up on those a little bit more. But then with your IRS, that you may be filing what they call a K1 with your IRS. And so you need to and one of the new businesses that will have a cannabis accountant on, so that we can discuss how to structure and organize your cannabis business to be most tax advantaged. However, that will be a future episode, so please turn in. And a partnership, so if you own that equity because you bought the 25% for the $1 million and you filled out the subscription agreement, and then let's say you even did do the appropriate filing with the SEC just to be extra compliant, like just to give them notice that you're flagrantly violating their federal laws while trying to comply with their federal laws. Great. And so you would get what they call a K1 on your taxes. And so that's what a partner would get, because it shows their flow through of either a loss or a profit for that particular tax year. And that's, you have to file your taxes annually. You have to pay them quarterly if you're making enough money. And just get a good accountant, have a good relationship with them, and then get a good bookkeeper to help you run your your books and records. So especially in this industry, because the state is going to want their taxes on a weekly or monthly basis every frickin' week or month. And be advised, we can make some introductions for accountants if you'd like, but thanks for the question. And with that, I'm again entertaining that motion to adjourn, and I'm going to have it be adjourned. But this is where we run the company, and that's what you get for the retainer. So when you retain our firm, unlike other firms, which they don't necessarily have the best client area, we have a great client area. And then we have the ability to talk in real time with our clients on the contracts after we've made them and say, is this what you want, or do you need this thing changed a little bit? All right, is this good? Let's get it out for signature. And then we can send it out for signature. It's in there. It's a secure portal. That's one thing we haven't shown. So because we are still exploring, and the reason why we have these office hours is because this is probably just more software than most people are used to. And so I wanted to make sure that people really understand how and why we do this. Contacts, because you have partners, right? And so you can add a new contact to here. And then that person would be in on it. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily be, your business partners. It could be the employee that's going to have to sign the contract. It could be maybe your lenders as well. And the contacts that you have they're usually parties to a contract somewhere, but they don't necessarily have to only be your investors or your board members. But of course, you do that, and then that's slightly different than your team. So you can also add your teammates to there. Let's see, is that this one? Yeah, team settings. And so then you hit the little user icon in the far right on your desktop, and we recommend if you are going to be drafting documents and sending them out for e-signature, please use your desktop for doing so. But then you can manage members. We can add new members in here. And then there's your legal team. Legal team, of course, is us. And so if you need more members, you could ask us to add them for you. So I'd say, like, all right, who else is on your team that needs access to this? And then you can all have access to it. And then when we call a board meeting, and it doesn't matter if you're in Colorado or Arizona and I'm in Illinois or Florida, and you can still have this. I mean, like, with screen share, with the way that we run the company on Google, it's a cloud-based internet. It's a cloud-based law firm, and we really think it's the way to go, because then everything is backed up, everything's clean, it's organized well, and we can edit it in real time until it's how you want it, send it out for signature, make sure that it's preserved right there. And if anybody starts getting squirrely and the deal starts going sideways on you, call a business meeting, and then we'll get the minutes out for your particular board meeting. You might want to get me on the line. I could help you fill out those minutes so that the next meeting that you have, you approve them, presto, business records, and then as that deal goes sideways and you might have to file suit, you have more and more evidence of somebody else's wrongdoings, but not yours. Hope that you guys are doing great, and really happy to be working with a lot of the clients. We just put in a whole bunch of lawsuits, and this summer we're going to have more licenses that are getting handed out in Illinois. Those are starting next week. The East Coast is popping, not really. New Jersey's kind of popping. New York is slow walking it, but not as slow as Virginia. Interesting that Mississippi's kind of quiet, but hopefully that'll start picking up. New Mexico's open for business. And this fall, we're really looking forward for Missouri, and maybe even your state. So, hey, thanks for tuning in, everybody.
And of course, Missouri's opened up for rec, so good update on that right there. Shout out to keeping up with my lawyers. I gotta watch these because we trying to get in that next round of licensing, that 250 plant cultivation authorization. You know what I'm talking about? We dig those. I already got my first one. I'm trying to work on my second one. Flip from 6 plants to 250. Y'all think I can do it by myself, or y'all trying to help? I don't know. Let me know in the comments though. Shout out to the cannabis legalization news. Y'all hit them up. Y'all know that's my lawyer. I get all my legal stuff from them. I'm gonna get that consultation popping here coming up. Gotta get that on in my homework file. Y'all just seen how much work we don't have coming up. Contracts. Make sure these stickers is on here.
Let's discuss my payment. That time is past. No 5,000 for you. The price is 50. How about your payment is you get to leave? Not enough. Now you think you can negotiate with me? I say the word, my nephews go to a certain motel, pay a visit to your daughter-in-law and your little granddaughter. What do you think happens then? Consider your position carefully. I get my money, or neither of us walk out of here. You willing to die for this? Maybe I need the 50,000 more than you do.
Told them boys to pay that man. Shout out to that big homie DJ Is. Y'all know we gotta have a beat somewhere on the video. Keep up that positive energy. Y'all know how we do. Like I said, y'all know to go hit up that Rumble. For those of y'all on replay, the link is in the live chat replay. Y'all know the people on verticals, the links either work for you or they don't. If they don't, they work on the replay. So, yeah. Be trying to look out for y'all doing my networking. No Easy Money's doing his thing over there. How Hot Sleep be like, you see what I'm saying? We've been keeping it popping. Let's see, those are probably some BS notifications. Get a lot of spammers over there on Rumble. No, that's the Michigander. No Easy Money. Appreciate the comment, bro. Y'all know to go check out the Michigander. He's over here on YouTube also, but go hit him up. Shouts out to that whoop-de-woo. And given that it's Wednesday, you guys know to go over and hopefully our boy Pigeons is going to be live coming up shortly. He should be getting ready to go in, if not already going in. But we'll see. Y'all know to hit him up over there on his channel. Keep the cannabis community popping. That's our option. Another look at what we've got completed so far on our latest Lego set. It's a scene from Star Wars with Darth Vader involved. He's probably going to be my next little set collection. Start me some Darth Vader Legos. Yeah, we're going to start some Darth Vader Legos up. Get that crack-a-lacking. But here's a shot of it for everybody. Yeah, the next section is going to be this portion right here. So we're going to get that done hopefully on Saturday. Probably get the rest of the whole thing done. Probably knowing me. You know, I'll be getting that homework done. Yeah, but you know, we almost 3 hours into the video. And I ain't show y'all no plans today, but I'm pretty sure the lights is out in the green room. So y'all already know to go check out the last short video I did that showed them, or the last highlight that showed them. Either way, you know, we got it all cracking. Appreciate the 10 thumbs up. It's your boy TWP. Y'all have a good night, because we finna get up out of here.